Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome in. Thank you guys for stopping in so early, as we are just getting started here. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be checking out the Forts Pro League matches. We're going to be doing some castings. It looks like we won't be able to do any proper live. Solid, maybe. The competitors are not ready at this point in time to do matches, so we will be casting from replays, doing some replay casting, so you guys can see the FPL matches right here and right now. Without further ado, welcome one, welcome all. I hope you guys have had a great day. Let's go ahead and make it just a little bit better, shall we? Want to say big shout out to everyone in chat. I saw you guys waiting, getting ready for activities. There we go. Hello there, Cavs. Crescent, Sun, ASMP, The Narrator, April, Rose, Aaron, Joshua, Rab, welcome in, Tufty Indigo, Spy Team, glad you enjoy. Alright. So, the way this is going to work is I am going to be casting from replays until such a time as I am contacted at one of the players' teams and they inform me that they are ready to play their matches. To my understanding, I do not expect any of those matches to happen today, as they are planning them all for Saturday, so we will be doing basically the same thing on Saturday, but it will be actual live activity, whereas this one will be cast from replay packs, as it were. Polybridge speedrun with explosions, let's go, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Is that Starship Troopers game music? Maybe. Definitely a solid maybe. Alright. So 1 moment. Need to adjust a few things here. I'm curious. Is the league all vanilla? The league is all vanilla, yes. I am curious. The settings, if you guys check the quality, do you happen to see 60 FPS there? As I'm testing things out a little bit, shall we say. You only see 1080p? Interesting. You're seeing 60 FPS? Okay. Okay. I wonder if it's just innate or only available to some. It's likely only available to some, because that's usually how that works. Alright, so I'm testing that out because, well, I've had some notable issues with 60 FPS in the past. So, we'll see if it's working. I suspect it's likely to be basically locked to 30, but we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if it's locked to 30 for most and then 60 FPS for some. That's not uncommon. Okay. But first, Stop it. We're going to go ahead and swap on over to the game cam. And we'll get this party started. Welcome to video making behind the scenes. This is not the correct team set. One moment. This is WTK versus Die. Which side is which? Second. Back. We have WTK on Team Monica. Way to Knishtish and Eagle Die. There you are. Let's go. Eagle Die, yes. If you guys have a favorite team, make sure to show it off in chat, because Lord knows that's one of the favorite things. One of my favorite things is watching the comment section on these videos, because the competitors themselves watch the videos and actually interact with you guys in the comment section. So, like, if you guys have questions about what exactly is going on, then you can directly ask the competitors just by commenting. It's great. I love it. Do I still have ducks? Yes. The Duck Mafia, they're still hanging around doing Duck Mafia things. Attack at shoelaces and such. That's what they do best. It's actually almost duckling season. Again. Not that it isn't almost always duckling season around these parts. Just change the option every time. Yeah, Aska, I did that once a while back, and then things had a breakdown, and then I stopped doing it, and I didn't start it again. It should be, you're correct, that should be doable. But without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's see, everything else is looking good here. Way to Kneshtish and Eagle Die. Set the timer. Today I have vitamin water, acai juice, and peach ginger tea. Do I get duck eggs? I mean, I don't personally mess with the duck eggs, but they exist. The iguanas like the duck eggs. Alright, welcome back to the Forts Pro League. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have some of your favorite teams here in this match on the left-hand side. In the blue, it is Team Way to Knishtish with Dami in the upper fort, Bowser in the lower fort. They will be playing against their opponents, Team Eagle Die. Probably one of the favorite teams I have seen just from the various comment sections and such. Team Eagle Die with Alex D in the top fort and Firework in the lower fort, playing on the red team on the right hand side. They'll be playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. As the Pinch Fist Commander, you know it, you love it. It is great for all those rushes as they're selling off the internal components of their base, reshaping everything, turning it all into metal so they can get a bit of a faster jump start on their eco, on their tech, on their everything. And it looks like they're actually going to be doing a little bit of a check here. Fireworks getting themselves a nice little buzzsaw there with behind a door that leads directly to their exposed core, trying to keep their opponents in check as their opponents are playing as the Warthog Commander. Another one of the more popular commanders here in this league, in this season. The Warthog Commander. It's known for the heavy weapons rushes, mostly because mostly because it's all of its abilities involve heavy weapons. Its primary ability empowers heavy weapons, making them deal even more damage than they already do, which is kind of impressive considering that there's a whole heap ton of damage availability in that in the heavy weapons as is. Now we do have snipers out from the red team. They're trying to keep themselves alive from the left team's own buzzsaw, as both teams have gotten a buzzsaw, trying to keep themselves honest. Keep each other honest, as it were. We do note that in the team chats, the red team indicated to each other they're talking in team chat as opposed to voice comms. Usually they're on voice comms, so I'm surprised to see that they're actually using in-game chat. But they did mention that their opponents sold off their metal, so they were concerned. They were mentioning that there's a solid chance that they could use the buzzsaw to deal massive damage there. But as it seems, both players on the right-hand side, Team Eagle Eye, are substantially ahead in the heavy weapons rush. Unsurprising, given that they are playing as a pinch fist commander. They have one howitzer placed, and a laser beam, the heavy laser, placed and ready to, and about 1/3 of the way completed. Whereas Team Way to Kanishtish is going for the exact same sets of weapons, only substantially behind, as they've only just now placed the howitzer in the upper base. But note, both teams are going for the exact same strategy, the exact same weapons in pretty much the exact same places. It's almost a perfect mirror match, except Team Eagle Die is just a good 20-30 seconds ahead, whereas Team Way to Kanishtish, they're a bit further behind, but when they actually do get to fire their weapons, when they catch up, as they will almost inevitably complete their weapons will hit that much harder with the empowered shots. So this is an interesting kind of scenario. It's a dynamic we've seen many a time, and I wonder how it will turn out. Note that the empowered shots from the howitzer tend to be an absolute game ender, especially if it impacts right here at this foundation, as the splash damage from the empowered howitzer is enough to break all the struts nearby, and especially on pinch fist bases, which will sell off much of the foundation's connections and the nodes. It will actually rip the entire base off of the top of the level, so you really don't want to get hit by a howitzer there. And Team Eagle Die knows this. They're setting up howitzer defenses, as howitzers will break upon background bracing. We see the first howitzer is fired with follow-up sniper shots to try to hit anything behind, but nothing but eco damage is being dealt here, as Dami does not have the ability to reconnect to their mines just yet, citing substantial economic issues. It looks like Bowser actually firing their fire beam just out of spite. They weren't ready to combo it with anything, but they wanted to fire anyways. I guess why not? As Way to Kaneshtish activating their commander ability, empowered weapons are enabled right now. Howitzer on howitzer action. Way to Kaneshtish hoping to land their empowered howitzer shell on the opponent's base, but instead using it to keep themselves alive, as Dami desperately did not want to get hit by a howitzer there. They were not prepared to take that kind of damage. So they do manage to even out, and everyone is stable, but this is the part where the teams start to deviate in strategy. Whereas Team Eagle Die's entire strategy revolves around that early opening volley and getting damage done in the first shot, Team Way to Kanishtish, they're running with the Warthog commander and are more than happy to have a game go long. The longer the game goes, the more value they can gain from those empowered heavy shots. And that is exactly what they're looking to do, as we have a cannon coming from the top base, slamming Team Eagle Die's lower base. More fire beams, more damage in every field. Following up with the buzzsaw. It's worth noting that the buzzsaws were sold off fairly quickly after the opening phases. The buzzsaws that exist on the field now have been replaced as a door snipe Some hot laser on laser action. Door snipes in every field. One of the side effects of lasers. There isn't a whole lot of opportunity to shoot your weapons without them getting counter-sniped, as both teams fired their laser beams and both teams lost their laser beams. So that's going to be a significant issue. As here comes the howitzer shell. Oh no, it's exposed. The sniper follow-up. But there it is. One more shot. And he saves it with a turbine. Okay. Very close, but slaps a turbine in front of that plasma beam and keeps it intact. That's a close call. Too little, too late. The cannon misses its intended target, hits the EMP launcher, which leaves the laser beam intact. And that's how that is this time around. So they will be able to keep that laser beam alive for now, as we have once again each team preparing to fire another volley. Now the ideal situation is each team will attempt to utilize their howitzer to slam directly into the front of their opponent's base, and then use their secondary weapons, namely the plasma lasers or the cannons from either team, to follow up through the weakened frontal structure of the opponent's base and punch clean through to the deep internals. You see, that's exactly what's happening here. That's a direct hit onto the core, bringing Dami's core down to 42%. Just a fraction of a second longer, and that core would have been gone. But that laser beam ran out of power at the last moment. Oh my. This is, not an ideal situation for Dami to be in. Oh, and it's an incendiary. Is there a follow-up? There is a follow-up from both players. But the energy shields come online and keep it alive. So in order to break through this energy shield, the players from Eagle Die will have to utilize their howitzer. But the howitzer is currently being used to crack open the outer shell, which is going to make things a little bit difficult, because they will need a second howitzer or a cannon, or they could change targets for the time being, or they could slam their howitzer to the top and do the typical howitzer trick of just ripping the entire base off of its connection. I imagine this is exactly why Alex from Team Red was looking to use the EMP launcher. Unfortunately, the EMP launcher is not long for this world. I'm sorry, this man just fully put down a wind turbine to protect his sniper and then sold it immediately. Which, to be fair, they are pinch fists, so they get 100% reclamation. There's no reason not to do that, other than APM requirements. This is poor technology getting bullied. Looks like Team Eagle Die is changing targets, or at least changing positions on that target, as again another door snipes takes out yet another laser beam from Team Way 2 Gneshtish. That core is about one laser beam away from death. You can see in team chat, the teams are talking about how much damage they're doing to the opponents, and mentioning that Team 1's tech is gone. Unfortunately, Dami cannot continue to sustain this manner of firepower. An empowered laser cuts deep into Alex in the top base of Team Red, but pays dearly for it as yet another door snipe takes out most of the remaining weapons for Team 1. Way 2 Gneshtish firing a howitzer in retaliation gets a minor amount of splash damage onto Eagle Die's core, but nothing of serious note. Oh, that's devastating. Dami's had their... Poor Dami. It's the economic bullying, all those mines, the resource gathering has been under constant fire. Cannon fire, laser fire, it's real rough. Way 2 Gneshtish empowering their howitzer, but it doesn't make it across the sky. There's now way too much AA for way too Kadish Dish to make anything happen there. Oh man, that is scary. The laser beam over-penetrating the base. That is the world way too Kadesh Dish is in on. 12% core HP left. The splash damage from the laser beam explosions. It's a little much. It's looking quite rough for Team Way 2 Kaneshtish. Uh-oh. How will they handle this is my question. Right now, the fire beam, that is just a thick wall of lead. Even with the fire beam burning all those shots out of the sky, it isn't enough to keep the howitzer alive. Whoa. I am concerned for Team Way 2 Kaneshtish here. That's, I suspect they're going to need to transition out into, I imagine, more laser beams or cannons. Like, the howitzer is no longer cutting it. The AA is too dense, and they no longer have the map control to sustain this. They need to either regain map control, which they're kind of sort of trying to do with this machine gun dusting, but the machine guns, they're not going to be enough. They need more is what they need. A nice hit takes out the smoke launcher. Just a good bit of damage, but it's not going to save them the game. Way 2 Kanesh just doing a good job with those snipers. But will it be enough is the question. Laser follow-up. The energy shields are still there. Big shock. Will this... He's trying to fire it immediately. Oh ho ho ho. I think at this point, Team Eagle Die is just trying to rip Dami off of the ceiling. Which seems like a good strategy to me, as the laser beams, the fire beams, are all focusing on specifically on the location where the howitzer is sitting. And there it is. Dami falls in a grand explosion. Team Way 2 Kaneshtish is down a player. Only Bowser remains. And they are aiming immediately for Bowser's eco. Oh no, they're going to give them the same treatment Team Eagle Die. They know what they want. They want Bowser's mines. Looks like Bowser's throwing out the GG. I think they're staying in it just to make Team Eagle Die work for it. I suspect Bowser doesn't have any real win condition here. I say that knowing full well that Bowser still has plasma lasers on the field, which you can never truly count out a player that has plasma lasers, but man, it's looking quite rough for Bowser here. I think they're just going out in those last stands. How much damage can they do on the way down is their question. As here comes the howitzer. Oh. There it is. Beautiful. The shotgun finish, I know, right? Okay, so these... Did they stay on the same side each time? They did not. Oh, God. Match order is a thing. Good shot, very good shot. One moment. Okay. You check that video. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for now, Kronk. To figure out which which one, because it's not going to make a significant difference which of these which order we go for, but I still would like to know, for reasons. As this is KMT versus Eagle Die. One moment, chat. I'm double checking to make sure we get this right, for everyone's sake. Okay. Not this one. Isn't the time and the name of the thing? Not really. Let's see, 202, 30, 218, 218, 220014, 220711, 222557. Maybe. Solid maybe. And I think the correct order is, I think I need to do this one next. Yeah. So, yeah, Kronk, that's what I've just discovered. Which makes it a little awkward given the maps. So we will do this one next. Map number 2. As we go into map 2. Between Way to Kineshtish and Eagle Die. Is this game like Worms? Not really, no. It's more like Polybridge. It's more like speedrunning Polybridge with cannons. That's what it's more like. Which is great fun in my opinion. Good here. Okay. Polybridge with guns, yes. If you notice, the players are doing the Polybridge thing at the moment of whatever this is. They're building turbines. They're building turbines behind their base is what they're doing. But now we're off to round 2, where here we have on the left-hand side, it is Way to Kineshtish, playing as the same commander. Here we have Way to Kineshtish, Dami in the top base, Bowser the lower base, on up and down 2v2. They're playing against their opponents. It is Team Eagle Die. And here we have it, Team Eagle Die on the right-hand side of Alex and Firework. Their hand is revealed. Playing as the Seep commander, well, They're looking to get some swarm missiles on the field, upgrade those to nukes, and deal game-ending critical damage quite rapidly, as we see 2 swarm missile launchers already on the field and in work in progress. It looks like the top player, Alex here, is not going to be going for swarm missile launchers themselves, but instead going for support weapons. I assume the laser variety? They're waiting on the technology. I just want to see which one they go for. Yes, the laser variant here. So we're going to see the fire beam, plasma beam out of Alex, where we have firework going for the nuclear option. And Team Way 2 Kinetish is going to have to deal with this. Bowser and Dami are both going for heavy weapons themselves. They're going to see, I imagine, either a howitzer or just mass cannons with a side of plasma laser to keep them intact. Both of which are going to struggle, because both of which are going to get slammed by weapons starting right now. And they're going to have to build their heavy weapons while under missile fire, which is kind of important. We already have a core exposure. Looks like they'll be cleaning that up real quick. Bowser doesn't want to get slammed that early in the game. As Way 2 Kinetish is going to have some difficulty. Eagle Die's strategy involves dealing critical amounts of damage before Team Way 2 Kinetish can get their weapons on the field. Because once those heavy weapons get on the field, the damage output, or at least the consistent damage output for Team Way 2 Kinetish will vastly outmatch Team Eagle Die's. The benefit of this strategy is that they can apply pressure in the early game to greatly delay Team Way 2 Kinetish, and the power spike, that is to say, the damage output of the nuke, hits before the damage output spike of the heavy weapons. As I say, it hits just before cannon o'clock, more consistently. And so this is going to be a vast departure from what we saw in the previous round, where both teams are going for very similar weapons, basically the same weapon set, almost the same build order. This time they're going for entirely different strategies, where we're going to see some incredibly heavy weapons hitting Team Way 2 Kinetish before they're ready to even do much about it. It looks like Team Way 2 Kinetish has got their first fire beam placed, so that will be under construction. Unfortunately for Dami here, I'm sorry, for Bowser, it's in the line of fire and likely to be the initial target of the nuke. We will see if Dami manages to get their cannon placed. They do. So both players of Team Way 2 Kinetish have their first heavy weapons placed, whereas Eagle Die is most of the way completed upgrading their nuclear weapon, and will be firing that within the next 60 seconds or so. We already have double doors on these flak to keep the flak alive from the AP sniper. It looks like Team Eagle Die is aware of the cannon placement and is looking to take that down. Do we have the fire beam, or do we have the plasma follow-up? No, the plasma is not yet ready. Team Eagle Die already getting themselves set up with some howitzer defenses. Beautifully placed. This looks particularly well done here. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. And flak fires. The fire beam defends. Oh! Unforeseen consequences. Firework down to 0% core. Oh boy. I'm pretty certain that wasn't intentional, but that's a lot of damage. That's going to leave Team Eagle Die at a notable disadvantage. Not only is the first nuke, well, not landing on Team Way 2 Kinetish, but it nearly eliminated one of their own players. Given the fluke nature of that, I don't think, yeah, Team Eagle Die will just be refiring the nuke, doing the same thing. That's a lot of... 0% core. Look at that. 0%. You don't see that every day. That's less than 0.5% actual HP. Wow. That's a close one. It looks like Team Way 2 Kaneshtish is not even bothering trying to go with the howitzer, which is completely understandable. Nuke ignites, lands, detonates onto Dami's base. Again, Eagle Die is aiming for Dami's mines, which is a frustrating experience. But this time, Team Way 2 Kaneshtish, they've got 2 cannons. One of them already firing. It's quite difficult to handle that kind of firepower. Eventually, those 2 cannons will simply dig through any base that they target. And Alex is looking to be the target. Now, Alex is down to 83% core, and with the sandbags and the defenses, Alex will survive for quite some time. Not an immediate threat of death, but time does not favor Team Eagle Die in this battle. As Team Way 2 Kaneshtish, as they increase the amount of weapons available to them as time goes on, between the Warthog Commander buff... Okay, well, that changes things a little bit. Significant damage dealt to both sides. Dami loses every one of their mines to a laser beam from above. And... huge hit. Sniper follow-up. Maybe? Oh, no, the sniper got... He doesn't have a sniper. It got sniped. It got destroyed. He sends a machine gun burst over there. But, man... That's, punches are being thrown from both sides here. Dami taking the heavier hit, losing all of their mines and all their eco with it. It's gonna set Dami back a very, very long time. Of course, Dami still has weapons, so they will still be able to utilize the weapons they have placed, but repairs, as well as any new weapons, are just... it's not gonna happen for quite some time. And Team Eagle Die is looking to change their targets to completely pacify... Oh no, Bowser loses their heavy weapons and a fire beam. That's going to nearly pacify Team Way 2 Kaneshtish here. So, while shot after shot is landing on Alex, it's massive damage has been dealt to Team Way 2 Kaneshtish. This is a pretty even match at this point. Alex down to 43% as those cannons are slowly wearing down the core HP. Another volley of missiles launches. The fire beam protects the nuke. Oh, that's a lot. That's unsustainable amounts of damage. Remember, the top player here, Dami, does not have the income at this point to repair things. Look at it, how slow the repairs are coming through. Even the snipers are managing to get onto this mine here. This is what bad looks like. This is not what you want your base to... I'm sorry, why are you like this? Just... this sniper, the map control is just brutal. Another nuke. Ignites, slams the plasma follow-up. No, it's not finished construction yet. He didn't get the door snipe. It's so rough. Poor Dami down to 66% and slowly dropping. Dami really doesn't have any more components of their base to sell off. Dami has been selling off components of their base to redistribute armored components to the front. It looks like Dami's not trying to rebuild their eco and instead just trying to survive as long as possible, which is not the decision I would make, but completely understandable given that, well, if they don't, the chances of them dying are quite high. Another cannon shell. Dami doesn't have the money to fire the second one, at least not immediately. Oh no. Another round of missiles. The nuke is taken out this time. The majority of the damage will be mitigated, But the plasma is online and doesn't quite cut all the way through Dami's base, selling off the last piece of technology. Dami, this is their last chance to have money. Will they invest in a mine? Nope, immediately spend it on additional defenses as a very close shave. Team Way Too Canisius' final hope. One plasma beam comes online and with it almost takes out Eagle Die's lowermost base. It is very, very close. Oh no. It's too much. Not too much skeleton. Well, I was gonna say too much skeleton, not enough meat, but at the end there, Dami had neither skeleton nor meat. It was the end. As Team Eagle Die is looking to finish off Way Too Kadishtish. At this point, Bowser is actually in an okay position here. Never count out a player who has a plasma beam, but man, that's a lot of damage. The plasma is intact, but they cut so deep. They cut so very deep as the snipers are oppressive, taking out every single exposed weapon in Bowser's base. Bowser managing to connect to the middling attempt at Dami's previous base, but the nuke didn't follow this time. I think Bowser was just firing there to try to get anything done. The nuke is taken out, so the plasma survives. Does actually hit Fireworks Eco here, dealing some damage. It's notable. The question is, will it be enough? Eagle Die now has 2 plasmas, which is a frankly concerning amount of damage output. Well, there goes Bowser's last weapon. Only flak remains at this point, which is not generally how you want that to go. Things are expanding rapidly on Team Eagle Die's half of the world. Large amounts of weapons being in place. Large amounts of snipers. Fireworks base is just living on a dream, man. It is so close to falling. A new fire beam being built for Bowser in Dami's previous base location. A machine gun wall failing to survive by virtue of oppressive sniper fire. Nuke lands. Massive damage. Laser overpenetrates. That is a disgusting amount of coordination. Even the buzzsaw follow-up to prevent rebuild. Wow. That took out pretty much every piece of ablative armor on Bowser's base, as we have a second volley coming in. Laser follow-up. The tech goes with that. Way Too Canisius no longer has access to laser beams, and that's it. And there you have it. Team Way Too Canisius taken down. %0% build OP. So it would seem. So it would seem. All right. So that is 2 wins for Way Too Canisius, for Eagle Die there. You know it, you love it, you guys have your favorite teams. You know which one is your favorite team. And I would love to hear it in chat. As we get a moment here. Actually, you know what? There we go. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Danke Merkel is your favorite? Yeah. There's a lot of favorites. That's one of the things I like about the Forts Pro League. Like I know I see a lot of you guys in chat as well. It's so much attention, so much activity. It's actually a good time for everyone. Okay. Give me a moment while I set up the next one. Let's see, 185558, 182, 184. GRL versus Cats. One moment. You gotta take this opportunity to stretch your legs, sip your tea, enjoy your day. Make sure to stretch.
Now give me the beat.
Here we go. Okay. Egg. No. It's not quite egg season just yet. At least they haven't appeared. Okay. GRL. Greenleaf versus Cats. Cattershot. There we go. There it is. as Cattershot is in this match. One of your favorite teams. Yes, Cattershot, yes. I know you guys are a big fan of that one. Looks like we are good to go. Ah, sweet tasty tea. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Forts Pro League, where here we have on the left-hand side, in the blue, it is Team Green Leaf. Drednistian and Vicro. Drednistian in the top base, Vicro in the lower base on the left-hand side, will be facing off against their opponents. It is Team Cattershot. Team Cattershot, with Fluffages Joe in the top base and Alessio in the lower base, are playing as the Armadillo Commander. Armadillo Commander, quite popular since its recent rework, recent changes, recent buffs. The recent buffs changed the commander such that metal is lighter than it was once before, is cheaper than it was once before, and the doors now close and open much quicker, so it allows you to have the same effect as tiny doors, kinda sorta, but not have to use tiny doors. You could use standard sized doors. It's quite nice. We see a sniper behind a tiny door anyways, because why not both? They are going to have to deal with Greenleaf. Greenleaf playing as the Warthog Commander. Warthog Commander, known for its massive firepower, its empowered cannon shells, perhaps empowered howitzer shells, are the most known elements of Warthog Commander. I suspect both teams are going to be building a very similar build order with very similar set of weapons. In fact, it's looking to be the exact same set of weapons, likely to be at a similar if not the same timings. Here we see both bases, quite anemic as they have been consumed to bootstrap and get slightly further ahead of their eco and tech production speeds, where the lower base is going for energy weapons and the upper bases are going for the cannons. It looks like actually Team Greenleaf is slightly further ahead. There would be no mechanical reason for this other than the players just decided to get either a bit greedier or perhaps a bit more refined in their build, a bit more disciplined. But nothing about the commander choice says that the Warthog Commander is necessarily faster than the Armadillo Commanders. This is mere mechanical skill on the side of Drednistian and Viker, that is to say, the Greenleaf side. We'll see if that makes a difference, as often this kind of boost in speed comes at the cost of a more anemic base, which can be costly, like game-ending levels of costly, should the game carry on. Now, it is worth noting that Cattershot here has gone for the upgrade center, so they do have upgraded mines and upgraded turbines. Both players will be going for the upgrade center, so that will slow them down slightly. It's more than slightly, actually. That's fairly substantial. It's fairly substantial slow. Specifically, they're doing this in place of getting a weapon. So rather than a howitzer, they're getting upgraded mines and a turbine, compared to Team Greenleaf, whose howitzer is already halfway completed, and also has a cannon placed. So, we're going to see a vast difference in firepower here, especially at the cannon o'clock timing, as Team Greenleaf will be ready for cannons at the cannon o'clock timing, and Team Cattershot is they're already conceding that they will not be fighting for the first volley. They're going to say, we're going to take the first hit, we're going to take the first 2 hits and just accept it, and then we'll retaliate eventually. And they're not even going to retaliate with more firepower. Their strategy is have so much eco that they can afford to drag the game out for 20 minutes and win by attrition. That's their strategy right now, based on what I'm seeing here. Specifically, the weapons they'll be using to inflict damage are the same weapons as their opponent, namely with the howitzer to crack the front of the base open, followed by the plasma laser to deal the penetrative damage and hit all those juicy internals afterwards, as the opening volleys have been launched. Greenleaf fires first. Fire beam, plasma beam, and howitzer, not in that order. Slam into Cattershot's topmost base. Fluffus' Joe taking the hit like a champ. Yeah, he's fine. Even the cannon added in afterward, he's perfectly fine. Not even broke. Suffered a little bit of eco issues, did actually drain completely of metal, but with 5 upgraded mines, he's fine. He's just fine. So I am curious as to how this will play out, as Greenleaf empowers their howitzer, slammed directly to the front. This is bad. If that cannon... Oh, man. If they had a fire beam in there as well, or if that cannon had landed in the middle, that would have gone directly to the core. As is, it got close enough to the core to deal 7% core damage. It looks like Team Cattershot preparing to fire back. They have a howitzer and a plasma beam ready to go. The first shots are fired. The first return volley. Plasma cuts in, but it's not enough. Team Greenleaf has had more than enough time uncontested to, well, build out more defenses than any amounts of realistic firepower could break through in a single volley. Cattershot will have to dig through that over and over and over again in order to have a hope of breaking through that amount of wood. Another empowered howitzer round. Trying for the door snipe, doesn't quite make it. Cattershot survives another hit. Not quite unscathed, but intact nonetheless. It looks like Cattershot's preparing for another coordinated attack. That's a heavy hit. That could be very bad if Cattershot runs out of energy. Doesn't have the offensive firepower to seal the deal here. Whew, and a massive repair bill. Fluffage's Joe, the top base, actually running out of metal to repair. Cannot keep taking hits like that, but neither can Greenleaf. Greenleaf didn't quite defend that one specific spot, now has their weapons vulnerable, unable to properly retaliate. Howitzer, uh-oh. Is the plasma ready to fire? Not quite, that could have been lethal. Vicro in the lower base is unprepared for this measure of firepower. Cannot take a combined strike of the howitzer, fire beam, and plasma beam. This is not something that Greenleaf can sustain for too much longer. Oh, a swing and a miss. The empowered howitzer goes wild. But Team Cattershot just has so much eco. Despite taking hit after hit, it isn't enough. Team Greenleaf just doesn't quite have the firepower to break through. While it was close with Fluffages earlier, unable to fully repair, Team Greenleaf isn't able to seal the deal. They're trying to aim for the economy. They've recognized the actual issue here. That all those upgraded mines they're paying off, and it's working well in Cattershot's favor. But will they be able to fix that problem quick enough? The AA is enough to keep Cattershot's howitzer out of the sky. But Team Greenleaf needs to change things here. That howitzer shell needs to clear out that energy shield. And that cannon shell needs to clear out that energy shield. Whoa. They're not able to break it. Cannon shell, laser beam, howitzer doesn't even get through the second layer of Cattershot's ablative armor, let alone the third layer. This is not the place you want to be in Greenleaf. While yes, Greenleaf isn't an immediate threat. Oh, a lucky shot through an open door. Team Cattershot loses the howitzer and with it the base. That was a beautiful shot. Team Cattershot loses a player, and while yes, Cattershot's final player has more eco than any other player individually, it's not more than both players combined, and now Team Greenleaf is looking to exact their vengeance upon the last remaining Armadillo player in the red. Sniper door snipes through the open door, loses the plasma laser. He's going to be repairing what they can, but missing the laser beam, there's not a whole lot of damage output left. Team Greenleaf, as anemic as their bases once were, and still kind of are, have overwhelming firepower, and they're bringing it down to bear upon their opponents. The thickness of the defenses, frankly, are holding. Team Cattershot, his core is not in any real danger right now. There's a lot of thickness between the outer layer and the core, and the juicy innards. The problem is that Team Cattershot doesn't have any way of really dealing damage to stop it. So while, yes, Cattershot is going to live for a substantial amount of time, they don't have a proper win condition here. They need to change things up. They're building a plasma laser, which is working toward a win condition, but without having it on the field right now, Team Greenleaf can just do whatever they want, and whatever they want involves pummeling Cattershot into the dust, which is what they are in the process of currently doing. Looks like Greenleaf is adding additional weapons to assist with that process. There'll be a second cannon, maybe even a howitzer placed there. Fire beams keeping Cattershot in check. Another round of howitzer does basically nothing. It's actually a beautiful shot, managing to get damage onto the mines and the mineral production for Team Cattershot. If those mines are destroyed, that is a win condition for Team Greenleaf. Greenleaf does not necessarily have to go directly to the core here. They can just kind of take out the mines and be done with it. Because once the mines fall, Cattershot won't be able to rebuild the ablative armor at all, and just you'll be able to end it. The firepower for Team Greenleaf is coming online, especially with the commander active and powering all of those shots. That's massive amounts of damage. I appreciate Greenleaf swapping in the rockets here, as the rockets have incredibly high DPS, very effective DPS at that. Generally leaves their targets unable to pay the repair bill of whatever is hitting them. It is worth noting that due to the Armadillo cheap repairs and the upgraded mines, the repair bill is kind of sustainable, but not when combined with the howitzer and the fire beams and the lasers and the cannons. Cattershot selling off all of the internals, all of their tech, just to give themselves an extra moment of life. They try to rebuild things as quickly as they can, but here comes the next volley, the next set of rounds coming out of Greenleaf. Disconnecting the mines once more as the cannons cut deep and the fire beams toast everything. God, just the splash damage. It doesn't stop as Greenleaf still increasing their firepower, upgrading their energy production so they can fire even more weapons. Another cannon soon to come online. Cattershot, if they couldn't handle the heat already, won't be able to handle it in a moment. Managing to upgrade their mines throughout all of this, just trying to live as long as they can. Alessio no longer has any internal components left to sell. Here comes the next howitzer. Will it disconnect the mines again? Yes, it will. And with that, Team Greenleaf takes round 1. Beautiful. Alright. My mouse, there it is, thank you. As we're off into round 2. Swap sides. It begins. Do I know the outcome of the game before playing on live? I do not know. It is possible for me to know, but I choose not to because I don't want to. But for now, we're off again to round 2 here in the Forts Pro League. Here on the left-hand side, it is Team Cattershot. With one of my favorite logos of all of the Forts Pro League teams. Fluffits is Joe on the top base, Alessio in the bottom base, playing on the blue team. And the left-hand side, Team Cattershot will be facing off against their opponents, Team Greenleaf. Vicro and Drenistian, playing as Greenleaf, are playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. One of the more common choices here in the Forts Pro League. Pinch Fist Commander specializes in anemic bases, selling off everything, refurbishing all of the components of their starting fort, and putting it toward an investment in technology and economic, production speed. This is something that we are going to see, frankly, quite often. We're going to see it even more, as both players are going for heavy weapons right out the gates. This is opposed to Cattershot, who doesn't sell off as much of their base, doesn't even have heavy weapon production, heavy weapons tech in production just yet, as they're playing the Architect Commander. The Architect Commander has, honestly, it's one of my favorite commanders. It's the Wood Spam Commander, which is quite the good. It gives cheaper wood, it gives faster building wood, and with its commander ability, gives faster building weapons and structures. It lets you tech swap real easy. It lets you catch up in build times if you are not the first to strike, if you are not quite ready for cannon o'clock. So you can get away with things like investing more in your mines. Getting a bit greedier with the defenses because you can just defend with wood. And then you can punch that commander ability button and catch right back up in terms of speed. So we'll see if that is their strategy here. It seems to be what their strategy is, as they are going with the 6th mine on this base. This specific map, while this isn't unique to this map, is known well on this map. Typically, you only get 5 mines on this map, because the 6th mine, while it can be placed, is outside of the map and fully exposed, or outside of your base. As in, you cannot properly defend it. So this is why you have this facade of a defense out here. So they can have this 6th mine with it being defended by a single shred of wood. And as you guys know, One strut of wood, not enough to defend, well, much of anything. So a single laser beam can cut through this and wipe out all of this. But I'm sure they're going to fix that at some point. But for now, it looks like Team Countershot is just finishing up their heavy weapons technology so they can get I assume a howitzer and standard cannon in play. Whereas Team Green Leaf, they're going tried and true blunt force trauma double cannon with a fire beam plasma beam follow-up, which is game-ending amounts of damage. We'll see how that turns out. I am curious to see the upgrade center here. I'm usually against it because it delays weapons to such a degree that you kind of have to. It forces you to rely on it. It becomes like this self-fulfilling prophecy, just like we saw in the previous round with Team Cattershot. Team Cattershot went with Armadillo in the upgrade center. Yeah, they were able to tank a long time, but they had to take a long time because they didn't apply pressure around cannon to clock timing. We're going to see very similar strategy tactics here, where Fluffage's Joe here is invested in the upgrade center and mines and turbines instead of a cannon. So they are necessarily going to have to take hits for quite an amount of time before that pays off. As it is past cannon o'clock, and it is time for Cattershot to pay their dues. As here comes the fire beam, plasma beam combo. Cuts deep, but with that dense layers of cheap wood spam, doesn't get all the way to the weapons, and is definitely defended. There is some actual weapon damage here with the first cannon shell coming out of Team Greenleaf. Cattershot will have to repair their howitzer and their cannon after that one. Fire beam cuts through. Plasma follow-up. You can do it. A single strut of wood between this cannon and disaster. Cannon did not survive the disaster. And this is one of the problems with going for this later strat. But with Cattershot activating their commander ability, we saw their cannons and weapons come online quite rapidly. They did return fire a single time. Unsurprisingly, Team Greenleaf was very well prepared for a singular cannon, so Cattershot will have to up their firepower game if they wish to deal any real damage here. Greenleaf, already ahead of the curve, prepared with multiple walls of MGs. That's up to 10 points of anti-air to keep that howitzer completely out of the sky. It's going to be quite some time before that howitzer has any meaningful opportunity to land upon Greenleaf. They are very, very well defended in this instance. Cattershot will have to actually invest into some substantial amounts of map control. They may be doing that with these buzzsaws and potentially the MGs here. We'll see if they intended to upgrade those two miniguns at some point, although they don't have an upgrade center at this point in time. Shotguns would be an amazing idea. I don't see... Neither player has the tech for shotguns. So they may just... At this point, either shotguns or try to win the sniper super hard, which is probably not going to happen given they're kind of even on the sniper fire here. They either need to tech switch, which is something... In my opinion, they would either... Cattershot needs a tech switch, which is something Architect does quite well, or they need to swap into cannons, which is kind of sort of it. This is not a tech switch, just a weapon swap going on there. Like basically sell off the howitzer, use it to fund a cannon, get a pair of cannons, and then just go quad cannon, which is good enough. Like if your opponents are going to invest that much in AA, just cannon them into the oblivion. That works. Brute force trauma works really well. Can't go wrong with it. It's quite good. One machine gunner trying so hard. It's not going to work. That's not nearly enough damage output, as we have another howitzer in production during the commander active, so that's gonna go from 0% completion to done in a few seconds, which, while will catch Greenleaf off guard, Greenleaf still has substantial amounts of AA, but both howitzers managed to make it across despite 4+ machine gunners. Team Greenleaf loses a player. Cattershot with them thick howitzer shells makes it clean across the open air and smashes Dranistian into the ground. Oh my. Now Cattershot going up to a 20mm, a standard cannon, and 2 howitzers will be dealing massive amounts of damage to Greenleaf's final remaining player. Yes, Vicro here on the right has 2 cannons, but that's a lot of damage output for Cattershot. Vicro's base does not sustain the next volley. Like that, there's not enough armor here. It's not even close. Once Cattershot is ready to fire again, Vicro will break. The question is, can Vicro do anything to prevent it? Can a preemptive strike? Can a door snipe? Can they do something to defend against this? A cannon shell takes out 1 howitzer, but with a 20mm and a standard cannon follow-up, that's gonna be massive amounts of damage. Look at how close. It cuts deep. The ablative armor destroyed. Oh no. Death from above, a high-angled cannon. It's a nice bit of inflection. Takes out one of Vicro's cannons down to a single set of weapons. Oh no, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. Uses the cannon as anti-air, almost gets it door sniped in the process. Pinch Fist will not help here. Cattershot selling off one of their 20mm to replace it with a standard cannon. The AA still insufficient to stop the howitzer from making it through. A second howitzer shell should be flying across momentarily. I was willing to give Vicro like a solid chance of getting a door snipe or something when they had 2 cannons. With a single cannon, I don't see it anymore. 1 cannon, it's simply not enough to deal with any of the, well, concerns that they had. And now with 0 cannons, they're nothing but a punching bag. And now Cattershot knows this, and they are going to increase that firepower massively. Up to 3 cannons and a howitzer from fluffages alone. That's kind of a lot of firepower. There's howitzer number 1. Where's howitzer number 2? Here it comes. Slams a little low. They're aiming for the foundations, trying to hit those mines. Oh no, buzzsaw. Oh no. That buzzsaw was very close to ending the game right then and there. Oh no. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't see a win condition for Green. I don't even see a survive condition for Vicro here. Vicro is just trying to live as long as they can in spite, just to drag the match out on because they can. And this is, well, it's quite satisfying to watch this kind of destruction. And there you have it. Vicro falls, and with that, Cattershot gets 1 additional point added in to their score. Actually, one moment. I can do something here. I'm not going to do that. Am I going to do that? Let me actually do a quick little adjustment here to my setup. There we go. Okay, so I could do this for you guys. And how about I add in... Well, first we move this to its proper location. Right here. Just for you guys. And... nice. If you give me a moment, we'll set up the next match. So how you doing, chat? Is this the kind of content you guys like? If you guys like this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like button. Let me know if this is what you want to see, because Lord knows we've got more of this coming soon. It's always a good time. This is the kind of content I like to make. Okay. Like this, I need this, this. Here's your slow-mo of the killing shot. Oh wait, not YouTube. Hey, there it is, Kane. Yes. You don't have a PC to play Forts? Oh no. Any plans for AI stuff? Actually, yes. Yes, there is plans for AI stuff. And one of the channel members is actually looking to sponsor it. So once, after the Forts Pro League settles down and we actually have players that are not busy doing other things, then we'll be doing the AI matches again, which I'm incredibly excited for. Like, actually incredibly excited for. Because the AI matches are some of my favorites. But we are once more off into the fray. Let's go. You love the sniper duels? Oh yeah. There's a lot of nice units. Given the specific background color of this map, let's adjust this to be this. There we go. And you know what? I think that could use a little bit of visibility adjustment. So let's do this real quick. There we go. That should look a lot nicer, yeah? Yeah, much better. Now you guys can see that, yeah? I need to swap the teams real quick. Let's see, we have Cattershot and Greenleaf, so we need to do Greenleaf here and Cattershot here. And we're off. How good is the AI in Forts? Middling. You're honest, you can't advertise the Polish channel. Yeah, it's a YouTube thing. It doesn't let links happen. I do recommend just telling people about it. Obviously, if you talk about the standard Forts Discord, you can link anything in the standard Forts Discord. So as long as you get awareness about it, that should be enough. This is Viker, I know you've got plenty going on there, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, we are off to round 3 in this match between Team Greenleaf and Cattershot. This time the sides are swapped once more. Greenleaf here in the blue on the left hand side, Dranistian in the top base, and Vicro in the bottom will be playing against Cattershot. Cattershot in the red on the right, Alessio in the top base, Fluffage's Joe in the bottom base. Playing as the Seep commander. Interesting note, they haven't placed their swarm missiles yet. Usually Seep is particularly... What's the word I'm going to describe this as? Round and out there, very in your face. You get your swarm missiles fast and you punch them. The enemies aren't surprised about it. They know what's happening and you punch them anyways. So I'm quite surprised to see at coming up on the 2-minute mark that these swarm missiles are not yet placed. They are using a different build order. They're going with a different build order, which is not something I'm usually accustomed to seeing. I will be watching this build order carefully to see how it turns out, as we have Cattershot getting an upgrade center before Swarm Missile, so we'll see how that works. But either way, Cattershot going with the tried and true, it's not even that true, but many a time tried double Swarm Missile into Laser Beam support. Whereas Greenleaf here on the left side is going with the Pinch Fist commander. We've seen Pinch Fist many a time. I don't need to describe it so much. This is the commander which sells off their bases, making themselves skeletons that they can fund additional speed and quickness into their investment in additional economy and technology. We'll see all those moments come to fruition here very shortly, as they are ready to already put down their their first heavy weapons. As once this is done, let's see, we have Vicro here ready to put down a plasma right now. There it is. And in the top, Dranistian is putting down a howitzer right here. Howitzer right here. There it is. Thank you. The swarm missile. Man, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I see what they're doing. They're not trying to rush. It's not a rush, is what it is. It just isn't a rush. It's just swarm missiles into nukes eventually. Which, I get it. I have moral issues with this. Missiles should be rushed. No, they're going with upgraded mines first. They'll probably upgrade a turbine or two along the way. This is not generally how I see this played, and with good reason in my opinion. The reason for that being the nukes, as damaging as they are, they're just not consistent in their damage output. They aren't better than a cannon. A cannon over time does more damage than a nuke. Because a cannon does more damage than a nuke, if you are going to be using a build which gets nukes later than cannons, you should just be using cannons. Because it's just better at the time in which you're doing it. If you're going to be using missiles, the premium time is to use them before cannons come out, because, you know, you can get them before cannons come out. So you may as well just rush them out, slam the opponents, deal the damage while the opponents have subpar weapons, and just kind of end the game. Or, if not end the game, then set your opponents back so far that you can do whatever you want. And then end the game at your leisure, usually by adding additional missiles and laser weaponry, but you have your options at that point. Here, Cattershot has thrown away their ability to choose because they're getting missiles after Team Greenleaf gets their cannons. In fact, I fully expect Team Greenleaf here to have the opening volleys. It looks like they're just waiting to sync up, as their weapons are already completed. And have been for some time. Okay, in that case, Greenleaf chooses not to fire first by their own volition. Instead, Cattershot eventually fires first. However, that opening shot will prompt Greenleaf to retaliate in kind. And we'll see how this works out, because Well, frankly, both teams have missiles and weapons firing at the same time. And in terms of raw damage output, technically Countershot with its nuke very technically has more damage output than Team Greenleaf, despite Greenleaf having a howitzer and a cannon and a plasma beam. The problem is that the nukes can be shot down, and can be shot down fairly reliably, much more reliably than the howitzer. So it makes it such that the average damage output will favor Team Greenleaf quite heavily. And this means I put Team Greenleaf in the advantage here in terms of game state. Yes, Countershot has a couple upgraded mines, but it's not that many upgraded mines. We're not talking about some massive eco advantage here. If Countershot does continue with the upgraded mines and the game continues for a long time... Oh no, not like this. Not like this! No, the nuke, it dips down into the base at just the perfect moment, snapping a critical foundation node, and just causes the entire base to collapse in on itself, self-destructing everything in a chain of secondary explosions. Oh no. Not like this. This is always a chance when dealing with nukes. Always a chance when dealing with nukes. That's not something any player has control over, but you know, if you roll the dice enough, it happens eventually. But man, is that painful to see. The nuke making it through all of those defenses, all of those machine guns to land in the perfect spot. That is satisfying. Oh, no. Oh, it hurts my soul. And the double nukes, with their massive damage output, make the difference. Team Countershot wins. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Countershot, with the double nukes, managed to take victory in this best of 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, with not a nuke rush, but nukes eventually, manages to win it. Well done to Team Countershot. Are we back? Are we back? I think we're back. Okay. As I was saying, Alex, I did see your chat from earlier. I am interested in doing Forts Pro League hostings today, although I did not reasonably expect, given the timing of it being a weekday and afternoon, evening, I did not expect you guys to be ready to do games today, but I did make myself available. You saw I did do a ping out in the Forts Pro League Discord. I will be doing the same thing on Saturday, which I do expect you guys to have at least some of you guys ready to go by Saturday, as that's going to be a good time all around. So we could do some more live castings then, but for today we'll be doing not live casting to get that hype going. Remember guys, if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that follow button. If you can't find the subscribe button, that's because it's on YouTube, where these full videos will be going out complete with your favorite slow-mo replay shots. Oh, another announcement. This weekend will also be Gamers for Giving, so we will have streams both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be doing a push for Gamers for Giving. You guys remember last year when we did it? Very successful. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Can I comment on the laser barrier play? It was good. Laser barriers work well. We know them. We love them. There's a reason why they're popular. It's because they work. Okay. And of course, the fellow finals. Yes, the Forts Amateur League finals happening this weekend as well. I believe starting at 12 p.m. my time. So that's going to be a little bit earlier. So, not tomorrow, but Saturday will be the Forts Amateur League finals. We'll get to see who comes out on top of that. The victors of which will have an opportunity to join the Forts Pro League, which will be cool. I'm into it. Let's see, this is Greenleaf versus Cat. Do, 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 do. Okay. Let me get the next match set up here real quick. High quality commentary and a great voice. I'm glad you enjoy Quantum Infinity. Oh, well, this is an interesting one. You guys are gonna like this one, I think. Match 12. Okay, so this is... So the next one we're going to be doing is Way to Kanishtish versus Cat. So we get to see Cat once again. Which I think you guys are going to be a fan of. For all you Cat fans out there. Am I going in order of matches? I am going in order of matches, yes, Alex. The order in which they were played, not the order in Challenger mode. Didn't realize I become more confident in my voice. Have I? Pretty certain I've been confident in my voice for a very, very long time. But I appreciate the compliment. I truly do. I will certainly take it as one. Alright, so we have Cat versus WTK. Cat versus WTK. Vetu Kanishtish. Alright. Doesn't dodeca mean 12? 20. Sorry, it's 12. I misread that because I saw dodeca just 12 in my brain. Wait, isn't it 12? Yeah. Alright, so first match in this one is... Vanilla Large. as we are good to go. You can't see chat except through stream? Interesting. I think you broke it. Which match do I wish to know the order for? I'm currently doing Cattershot versus Way Too Knechtisch. That's match 12. It's one of the ones you posted, actually, Crocodile. I do have the match order here. The first one is Vanilla Large. So we should be good to go. All right. And we are off. Make sure to type in chat, which team do you think will win? Which team is your favorite? We have Cattershot and Way Too Knechtisch. Well, I hope you chose correctly, because we're off again to the Forts Pro League, where here we have on the left-hand side, it is a fan favorite, it is Team Cat. Fluffages Joe and Alessio in Team Blue will be playing against Team Way Too Knechtisch. But Dami in the top fort, Bowser in the lower fort. Dami and Bowser this time are playing as the Pinch Fist Commander. One of the most popular commanders here in the Forts Pro League. This commander specializes in selling off your base, turning it into an anemic skeleton, which you can then expend all those additional resources into bootstrapping and boosting the early progression of your base, getting you just that far further in the match. I have the wrong order. Give me a moment. If you're lying to me. See, 21, 151. I do have the wrong order. I misread that. It's balls first. Then Vanilla Large. Then Stalactites. So 2002, 2003, 2002. It is so hard to read this. 202, 918. 204. 210. 202. No. Yes, balls, stalactites, vanilla large. Okay. Balls, stalactites, vanilla large. Got it. I misread it the first time. Doing balls first. And teams are correct. Great. Be quiet, scientist. Okay, so now we have Cattershot on the left, Way Too Knechtisch still on the right. Great, love to see it. Need more naming conventions. This match is from pre-naming conventions times. Naming conventions were invented at some point along the way. But Welcome back to the Forts Pro League. We're off to match 1 in this best of 3, where one of our favorite teams here in the blue, it is Team Cattershot here playing on balls. Alessio in the top ball, Fluffages Joe in the bottom ball. They're playing against their opponents. It is Way to Gneshtish, Dami in the lower ball, Bowser in the upper ball. We'll be playing as the Architect Commander. Architect Commander, one of my favorite commanders, specializes in wood spam, with faster building wood, cheaper wood, just passively gets even stronger during their commander active, where it boosts the build speed of every device and weapon quite massively for the duration of the commander active. This is compared to Cattershot, who's playing as the Overdrive Commander. Prior to the changes from the previous match, not previous match, but the previous patch, Overdrive was one of the more popular commanders just because it was an all-round good commander that boosted your eco and it boosted your upgrade speed. Like, you couldn't go wrong with it. But now it specializes pretty heavily into upgrades. So if we see the Overdrive commander selected, such as we have now, we can expect both of these players to be going with an upgrade center. This can be used as a different form of a swarm missile rush. It could also be used quite commonly with the standard rocket rushes, or even mortar rushes. Now, I'm curious to see which way they will go with, given that both of these players are expanding to the side islands. They're either going to be going with some incredibly heavy eco play, or swarm missiles. I was really hoping it was swarm missiles, but it looks like it's going to be heavy eco play, as we have mineral expansions and upgrades coming in with upgraded turbines. So we're going to see some substantially heavy eco, and this will come at the cost of build time for their weapons. We'll see that Way to Gneshtish is not exactly rushing weapons themselves. They too are expanding to the additional islands and collecting the bonus income and metal production from doing so. However, as they're playing with the Architect Commander, they're not investing nearly as much, given that Cattershot will be upgrading their mines on top of building additional mines. Now, this is exciting to me, because this... No, never mind. This is just buzzsaw defense, which is, this is fair enough. I don't blame him for buzzsaw defense. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It is quite rare that I see this map played such aggressively eco-heavy. Surely this man builds swarm missiles now. Yes, there it is. Okay. I was like, there's no way. This is peak swarm missile layout. It's because it is. My question is, what is Alessio doing? I mean, besides chunking up their base, they aren't getting heavy weapons tech, they aren't upgrading their mines, and they aren't going massively into mine investment. As we see, for example, the direct counterpart has gone up to 8 mines, whereas Alessio is still on 7, just added their 7th mine. So I don't know what the plan is there, but they don't have heavy weapons tech, so they're not going heavy weapons in the near future, whereas Fluffages here is going mass swarm missile, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's going to come out way later than Way to Gneshtish heavy weapons, as they already have, at least their lower fort already has a howitzer 2/3 of the way completed and a 20 mil halfway done. So we are going to see significant firepower launching from Way to Gneshtish very quickly, at least within the next few seconds. Both teams happy to go long past standard cannon o'clock before even thinking about firing their weapons, but this is going to come at the cost. Okay, so Cattershot's top base is just now starting heavy weapons tech, which is about the same time as Way to Gneshtish heavy weapons are finishing up. So that's a significant amount of time before Cattershot will even have weapons to fire back. Mind you, they do have a nuke here, and I suspect they're going to double upgrade these nukes. So we're going to see double nukes from below. which is the worst case scenario to defend if you're trying to defend against nukes. We'll see how that goes. First howitzer fires, damage is done. We see Fluffage's Joe immediately wiped off the face of this island, which is really rather unfortunate for Team Catashot, but not at all surprising to me, given the game state. The question then is, can Alessio in the top base make up for it? And I'm going to say I doubt it, considering they don't even yet have technology completed. I don't know what their plan is here. I don't know what they can do. I mean, I guess just keep building technology and hope you eventually get something on the field. I just don't have a step-by-step process from beginning to end. Mostly because those steps involve doing things which you no longer have the ability to do. So that's really rather unfortunate for Alessio here. But they are going to give it a try. They do have 2 upgraded mines. And now they're going up to 8 mines, putting them on par with their direct opponent. With the reclaiming of Fluffage Joe's mineral expansion here, they'll bring them up to 12 mines, 6 of which are upgraded, which is kind of a lot. That would put them at approximately on par with... Would that? No, that doesn't even bring them up to the eco levels of their opponents. So they're still running at less eco than their opponents, with fewer weapons, way fewer weapons, and not much in the way of defenses around their core, as their core is being directly hit by laser fire right now, which is not the ideal. It looks like Bowser from the top base, way to Kineshtish, is going with the double swarm missile nuke option. Will likely, if I were them, I would upgrade a second nuke. We'll see if that's what ends up happening. I don't think they're going to need it, as just the sheer firepower coming out of way to Kineshtish is, frankly, it's breaking through Catashot. Alessio is not managing to defend against this, which, how can you truly defend against it when you don't have anything to fire back? As way to Kineshtish now adding another cannon onto the mod. To their credit, Alessio is managing to hold off the missiles quite well, with massive amounts of machine gunners splayed all the way through all these islands, just intermingled throughout. Is managing to keep the skies mostly clear. Of course, the problem is that machine guns do nothing to stop cannons, and cannons are what's coming. Cannons are absolutely what's coming. Wow. Here comes a 20 mil. The nuke gets shut down, which is not terribly surprising. What is surprising to me, however, is that Alessio managed to reclaim the entirety of Fluffage's Joe's base, and with it, the nuke that was sitting down there. And I suspect this is going to prompt way too Nashus to destroy the remnants of Fluffage's Joe's remnant base with extreme hatred, because that's a nuke launcher, and nukes are dangerous. Yep, immediately the 20 mil is firing that way. Question is, how are they going to handle that? With a blade of armor, which is not surprising to me. That's the most consistent way of defending. Nuke gets shut down once again. Plasma beam doesn't quite make it. They're using buzzsaws to disconnect, but just large amounts of damage output. This missile launcher is not going to do anything without a portal. I suspect they know that. Another set of nukes. Outgoing. Is it enough? Oh boy. Well, that's not pleasant. Chunky damage. I'm actually kind of surprised they aren't timing those buzzsaws to disconnect. Uh-oh. That's an exposed base, that exposed cannon, and Nextish knows it. Oh boy. How do you deal with this as Cattershot? More APM and more money required. I'm surprised to see that Neshdish isn't waiting with those buzzsaws to disconnect the nuke as it's firing to interrupt its launch sequence. But, wow. That's a lot of damage. Cattershot loses 3 or 4 upgraded mines. Did we get a disconnect? No? No. Okay. Not quite. As it is, Cattershot actually managing to fire some shots back with those nukes, dealing some damage. It's not the most one-sided thing I've seen. But this is not a winning battle for Cattershot. This is trending downward and quite rapidly, as every other volley, Waytuk Neshtish manages to penetrate something important and dealing significant sums of damage to Cattershot's base. Even the commander active ability from Cattershot to keep things growing smoothly isn't enough, as fires are now burning through the once solid. Oh, that's almost an exposed core. Alessio's cores burning down to 50%, 30%, and dropping. Oh, it's so close. The fire's finally put out with 10% remaining, and more splash damage incoming. Oh no, Alessio selling off mines just to fund his defenses. That hurts. That hurts a lot. So many buzzsaws keeping the expansions permanently disconnected as the howitzer comes in again, dealing another 1% core damage. A fire beam will do it. There we have it. Team Waytuk Neshtish takes this victory. Round 1 goes to Waytuk Neshtish. Well done. All right. Just give us a moment here. And we'll jump right into the next match. Looking for this, thank you. And we're off to the next round. Unsurprising commander choices. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got more content, more forts, more goodies coming out soon. In fact, we've got a lot more forts coming up this weekend. Like, it's crazy. But that is this weekend. And right now, we're off to round 2, where here we have on the left-hand side, it is Way to Kneshdish, playing as the blue team. Dami and Bowser will be facing their opponent's team Cattershot. In the red, Fluffage's Joe in the top base, Alessio in the lower base, playing with the Warthog commander this time. A very popular choice, kind of about as standard as it gets. Typically just standard rush to heavy weapons, or rather a very common rush to heavy weapons, where their whole goal is to get out those heavy cannons, heavy lasers, activate their commander ability to empower those heavy weapons, and smash with bonus damage. Compared to Way to Kneshdish, which intend to use the same weapons and similarly rush to heavy weapons, but instead of relying on empowered weapons to get there and to deal more damage, instead they're playing as the Pinch Fist commander, which will allow them to sell off pretty much everything on their base, become as anemic as possible, and get their weapons out far faster than anything else. Typically, this is done with heavy weapons, because heavy weapons, well, they're just the most consistent, they deal the most damage. Why not use it to bring them out faster? Instead, we're seeing them use it to bring out missiles faster, which is an interesting choice. Generally, if you're going to do that, we often see Seep, which empowers missiles, or if you want to do faster missiles, you go with the Overdrive Commander, because the Overdrive Commander cuts down the upgrade time on the nukes, which is the biggest time sink for the missile rush. I'm curious that they're using Pinch Fist for this, but you know what? I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. At least they are going with a proper missile rush, which a little bit of friendly fire. The flak attempting to take down the missiles that were coming at it accidentally dusts their teammates' core. Cattershot losing a bit of HP on Fluffage's Joe's core up there, so that's kind of funny. We do see the nuke in production now. We'll see that come out around Canada clock timing. As will we see laser beams from Bowser. Unsurprisingly, we do seem to have a rather standard heavy weapons rush build order out of Cattershot. Unfortunate that this turbine self-destructed. Could have seen that coming, but it happens to the best of us. A little bit of greed causes such a thing. This base looks so anemic, like it's literally being held together with string and rope. That's... I would say it's skeletal, but they've swapped some of the bones for tendons. It's just dangling on. Talk about duct tape. Good lord. Well, that's Pinch Fist in a nutshell for you. I am curious to see how this strategy works out for them. What I'm confused about is that there are no heavy weapons in production for Cattershot just yet. We're coming up on Canada clock in about 20-30 seconds. And they've only just now placed a howitzer. So they've invested pretty heavily on defenses instead of weapons, which is understandable given the, well, the out there and fully exposed swarm missiles. But man, well, at least they're getting weapons now, so well, man, I'm just not confident in either of these. I wouldn't want to be either team here. One team is just behind what I would expect the average timing to be, and the other team just doesn't have the firepower they need. I mean, they're both behind. Like it's for Pinch Fist Rush, I would expect Plasma Beam to be done by now and firing, but instead it's only 2/3 of the way completed. But here we are. Nuke fires again. Nuke gets drunked and taken out of the sky. One thing that's worth noting, Countershot did invest heavily in defenses. This does mean that the anti-air is thick and not even the swarm missiles are getting across the air, which usually at least a couple swarm missiles make it across, despite there being thick amounts of anti-air. So that's quite impressive measure of defense. Of course, it did come at the cost of them having weapons, so Way 2 Kineshtis just gets to fire for free, instead of being punished for their greed and their rush. But now Way 2 Kineshtis does have Plasma online with double fire beams, so they will be able to deal some proper damage output. And Countershot still doesn't have weapons. Howitzer is coming online now, so that can be fired. Mind you, Kineshtis is kinda prepared for this. Kinda prepared for this. Almost prepared for... Oh, do it again. Do it again. Oh, it's so close. One more time. You can nail it. You can do it. No. Okay, I wanted the trick shot. As the plasma fires, the nuke flies. Still completely taken down. Not even a single swarm missile, which is impressive. I don't see that every day. The shotgun is prepared this time, and he's ready and waiting for it. That was a beautiful sniper shot, by the way. I mean, it still hit a closed door, but a beautiful aim. Oh no, the fire beam is doing fire beam things, destroying weapons while they're under construction. Again. Every missile cleansed from the sky. Neshtik not doing any real damage, despite having a nuke, a heavy laser, and 2 fire beams, not doing any real damage. Countershot still doesn't have weapons. Although at this point, it's mostly because their weapons are being destroyed or dismantled by Neshtish fire beams, as opposed to just having not built them in the first place. I am surprised at the amount of not damage which is happening right now. The shotguns are successful in destroying many of the anti-air sources and trying to get that map control, but Countershot is prepared with doors. They are set to defend their anti-air, so they're not an immediate threat, but the shotgun still applies pressure nonetheless. That would be a great time to fire that howitzer, yeah. Oh, nuke goes drunk. Still doesn't make it. That one was close. That one was very close, but still didn't make it. I'm still surprised that damage has not happened. An EMP makes it across. Oh, that could do it. Any amount of follow-up. You've got a buzzsaw. Do it. Oh, how are you still... He caught it. He caught it on the way down. That's what happened. Okay. Just buzzsaw him again. Just do it again. Just do it again. You know you want. You've got a fire beam. Do it again. Like, this is a base that's held together with not even duct tape. Just do it again. That was so very close. I don't know how you've lived as long as you have. Surely this is the end for someone. Nuke makes it. Minimal damage sustained from that nuke. Well, that's unfortunate. Technology being sliced and disconnected from the base. Yeah, Countershot's just got some pretty dummy thick defenses in the front of their base. They face tanked that nuke and didn't care all that much. Even their EMP's still firing. There's nothing there to shut down. It's the howitzer almost completely free to fly. Their teammate coming with a shotgun to keep them alive, but... My dude, you gotta put energy shields on these. Wow. Doors sniping the sniper using an EMP. That's not something you see every day. That hurts. That EMP shutting down all three of Dami's mines. Dami and getting their minds abused seems to be a trend, which I just find funny. My dude, energy shields win. Like, you had energy shields on this. You took them off and you lost. Ah! This is fine. This is fine. The nuke is still not making it across the world. I don't know how any of these players are still alive. Like, what's going on? I feel like a standard cannon would have ended this game a long time ago. Not that a howitzer couldn't have, but a standard cannon with a much more consistent damage output. Oh, jeez. Alright. Fluffages is sitting on 1,000 metal. Dude needs to invest in additional energy production or a standard cannon. Pick one. Nuke makes it across, takes out a couple MGs, and actually does a bit of damage splashed all over. But sitting on 1,000 metal, Fluffages just repairs that without thinking twice. A mini gunner. That's not something you see every day, but always so very exciting. You actually see it. Nice heavy hit. Temporarily disconnects Dami's mines. Hey, there's the energy shield. Alright. Good job, Alessio. Staying alive. As way too Kadishtish goes up to more lasers. Shout out to Dami staying alive through all this. Dami with very few weapons and no real defense to their name. Not dying yet, which is kind of impressive. I'm pretty certain this rope here just saved them. Without that rope, this line would absolutely have rotated to its breaking point. Oh, jeez. Spider webbing their way to safety. Poor Dami, just their base slowly dripping, just drooping further and further away from their foundation. Is that it? That's it? Finally, after all these shots. Dami falls, leaving only Bowser in this. Oh boy. Now 1v2. Bowser does have double plasma, so they're still in this for sure. Especially given Alessio's insistence on selling off the energy shield. No longer has energy shields in their base. Very vulnerable to door snipes and most everything else, really. Is this it? Nope. Shotgun comes in last second. Saves. Yeah, but Bowser just building more and more plasmas. I mean, I don't blame them. Why not? Just get two. You've got two plasmas, two fire beams. At some point, you just go direct to the core. Double fire beam, triple fire beam, double plasma. You just dig. Oh, that's dangerous. If those fire beams get door snipes, there's nothing between them and the core. So they just go directly to the core. If they get door sniped, the door snipes directly to the core. Like, that core is air cooled right now from the front, which is not an ideal defense, but it is the defense Bowser has chosen and is living with. Oh no. Bowser, not properly defended against laser beams, loses one of their new toys, oh, that was their shotgun. Uh-oh. Loses their anti-howitzer defense to a laser beam, which is bad because the howitzer is coming right now. Ignited, slams, disconnected. Bowser falls. And with that, Team Cattershot evens these scores as we move on to round 3. Remember guys, take this opportunity to hit that subscribe button. If you can't find it, that's because it's on YouTube, where you can subscribe for free and get notified of all your favorite Forts content. If you guys want to see when the next Forts video comes out, well, you can with one quick press of a button. So remember, we have more Forts content coming out this week and massive amounts of Forts streaming coming this weekend with the Forts Amateur League as well as the special event, specifically the Gamers for Giving. We'll be doing Forts live streams. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a very long day. As we bring up round 3. Okay, and we're off. Question from chat. Where can we see the Amateur League matches? To my knowledge, they are not broadcasted anywhere. It wasn't enough interest in the Amateur League. But for the Amateur League event this weekend, that will be live cast. That's going to be the Amateur League finals. So you guys will get to see it here on this channel. I believe also Zaltzvek might be involved. I haven't checked with them. We'll have to see about that. Vicro, were you doing Amateur League stuff? Either way, that is activities for this weekend, which you guys will have to check out this coming weekend. As right now, we're off to round 3, where here on the left-hand side, it is Team Cattershot playing in the blue, Fluffages Joe in the top base, Alessio in the bottom base. They're going for what looks to be a pretty standard build as they're facing off against their opponents, Team Way to Gneshtish. Dami in the top base, Bowser in the bottom base. The sniper wars seem to have stalled out for a moment. No more sniper shots coming in. However, Way to Gneshtish is playing as the Pinchfist commander. This is a very popular commander here in the Forts Pro League, just because of how quickly it lets players boost their early game. They can run through that early game and resource production real quick by selling off most of their fort and putting it into additional technology and income. Whereas their opponents, Team Cattershot, are playing as the Spook commander. One of my favorite commanders, because it all the tricksy things. Specifically, it just gets information. It's the information commander. It lets you see into your opponent's bases during the commander active, and during the commander active, it also steals some of their resources, which is quite nice. You can throw off opponents' timings and numbers with that kind of thing. It's just all-round good. It's kind of a generalist commander. It doesn't do anything particularly well, but is quite nice to have. We'll see how that changes things, as both teams are going for mostly standard build orders. I will say, Cattershot, in Cattershot style, Fluffages here is building an upgrade center, which you don't generally see in most matches unless it's a cattershot match. I assume they're going to do what they were doing previously, which is upgrade their mines. Typically, players will skip the upgrade center and go straight to heavy weapons. While cattershot is going to heavy weapons, they are adding in the upgrade center along the way. So they're looking to play the long game by virtue of upgrading their mines, basically seeding that they won't deal the first shot of damage or the second shot of damage, but in exchange they will gain massive amounts of economy. It's like plus 50% metal generation, which is kind of big. On the other hand, Way 2 Kneshtish doesn't care about eco, at least not much. They're pinch fists. Their goal is to get weapons out faster than anyone else can physically get weapons out, and, well, they're gonna punch their opponents directly in the face, because that's what they do. They're good at it. They get weapons. Very simple. If your opponent's doing something strange, you just get cannons, and you blow a hole in their base. It works like 99% of the time. And we'll see if this is what works here, as we are going into cannon o'clock, coming up in about 60 seconds here. Less than 60 seconds, really, as these fire beam and laser beam are about halfway done. And this howitzer is 2/3 of the way complete, with the follow-up cannon about 1/4 of the way complete at this point in time. On the other side, Team Cattershot, while they're... Oh, no. Just a little too much greed out of Way 2 Kneshtish. The buzzsaw chops down Dommy's fire. Why is it always Dommy getting bullied? Why is Dommy the one getting bullied every time? Dommy's fire beam gets chopped down, setting them back a little bit. Got a little too greedy, too much selling the metal, too much wood, not enough armor. Collapses one weapon and sets them back an entire weapon. Well, that's unfortunate for them. But, nevertheless, Cattershot only has a single cannon halfway completed. Still compared to Way 2 Kneshtish, which has a fully operational howitzer and a fully operational plasma beam and 2 fire beams under production and a follow-up cannon 3/4 of the way completed. First howitzer fires. That's about the least amount of damage a howitzer could have done in this context, which is good for Team Cattershot. Unfortunately, the follow-up laser breaks all of Alessio's wind turbines. That's going to set them back fairly substantially. It is worth noting that both Alessio and Fluffages have upgraded at least some of their mines, so they will be getting large amounts of metal income. This will enable them to rebuild things at a rapid rate. Here we see Fluffages preparing their first weapons platform, so while Cattershot is getting pummeled by howitzers, the top Cattershot player is just now placing their first weapon. It looks like Alessio in the bottom base here is preparing to fire the cannon, which will mark Cattershot's first retorts in this heavy weapons array. Splashing semi-harmlessly onto the Way 2 Kneshtish doors. Way 2 Kneshtish prepared for such heavy weapons. Honestly, Cattershot, their snipers have been on point. Cattershot is constantly winning the sniper duels. Oh, but you can't let that happen. This is one of the downsides of having that mine out the front. You see both players on Cattershot have gone up to 6 mines. Yes, they get the extra mines out of it, but it's so much harder to defend that. A laser beam cutting clean through, wiping out 3 of Fluffage's mines. That's going to set them back probably more than the upgraded mines have managed to boost them, which is painful. Very painful. Quick thinking out of Alessio. Getting a... What? Oh, the batteries. Oh, no! Oh, not again. Not like this, the friendly... The friendly fire, the self-damage, the absolute catastrophe. Dami's own fire beams destroying his own base, causing his base to collapse down upon his teammate and wiping them out of this match. Team Cattershot wins off the back of way to Kanishtig's own fire beam. Ladies and gentlemen, Cattershot is our victor here in this match. Oh man, that is so much. I did not see that one coming. Like, I was wondering, like, oh, that fire beam managed to get into their own base, but I didn't expect the second fire beam to do the same thing, and I certainly didn't expect it to end up chain reacting and destroying both bases. That's painful. That's some serious pain right there. Slow-mo. The slow-mo requires an amount of editing that we will do and have done on the YouTube channel coming soon. So that's a later thing. If you guys want to see the slow-mo as well as the full cast of this, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it, because that's going on the channel. That is absolutely going on the channel. Alright, let's go ahead and get this next one set up. You want to see it again? No, don't worry. It will be forever immortalized on the internet, for you to watch in the perfectly slow motion. Are these pre-recorded games? The games themselves are pre-recorded, yes. I haven't seen these games before, so we are casting them from recordings. Yes, these are good games. These are very good games. I like these games. I like these games a lot. Hello there. Welcome back, Reborn. Games going smoothly? Yes, yes, they are. Okay. Oh, oh my. If it isn't this Serral of forts. Alright, let's see. Which of these matches is first? second. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. Tommy keeps getting bullied. Yes, Tommy does keep getting bullied. It's really rather unfortunate. Okay. I do find it a little funny that Dommy is the target every time. Remember, guys, make sure to stand up, stretch. I had a fun moment the other day where I was gaming with some friends, and we had to wait 2 minutes for. I had to wait 2 minutes for a in-game timer to wear off. Literally just like go AFK, level up in-game timer. So I motivated everyone to do 2 minutes worth of squats, which was fun. Hello there, Arcane. You are correct, no channel points. That is not how things work around here, unfortunately. Kind of semi-fortunately. All right. Are you ready? As now we jump into GRL versus Skull of Krubis. That's Greenleaf versus Eaton and Noah. Hope you guys are ready for this one, because this one's gonna get exciting. All right. Timer is up. Oh, I'm excited for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Forts Pro League, where here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Greenleaf in the blue, Dranistian in the top fort, Vicro in the lower fort. They're facing off against their opponents, Team Skull of Krubis. Eaton in the lower fort, Noah in the upper fort, playing as red. They are playing as the Warthog Commander. Warthog Commander, particularly standard. We can expect to see what is basically just a heavy weapons rush. And with it, plenty of cannon fire. Now, given that this is Eaton and Noah, especially given that this is Noah, I do expect to see an EMP launched at some points in the early game. But I also expect Team Greenleaf, as they're playing as the Architect Commander, to have a very similar build order to Skull of Krubis here. Like, we shouldn't be seeing anything particularly strange or exciting from either of these teams. They're going to be both playing rather standard. Now, it isn't unusual for the Architect player to diverge a little bit. We do see the upgrade center being placed here, and the reason for the divergence is because the Architect Commander's active gives a massive boost to the build speed of well, everything of their technology and their devices, which means they don't necessarily have to be the first to fire so much as they get hit and use their active ability to boost themselves back into even. Okay. This EMP doing amazing damage, not just shutting down all the technology, but actually managing to destroy a turbine. That's not something you see every day. And funny enough, coming from Ethan rather than Noah. That's... Oh no. Greenleaf isn't even getting snipers. Typically the response to this, or ideally the preemptive response to this, is get a sniper. Because snipers deal with this particularly well. Look how long the door is open. You can just gun it down. It's quite cheap. Oh no, shutting down the core too and hitting the howitzer. Oh no, this howitzer, this EMP is getting disgusting amounts of value. Like you can't... No, please don't. Not like this. Not like this. Oh, jeez. Shutting down the core on top of the weapons. Man, that just... So the core produces a significant amount of energy. It's a good 3 or 4 wind turbines worth of energy production. It is your eco for the start of the game. And if you shut down the core, what you get is not having eco anymore. Which is bad. Now, of course, it's just an EMP, shuts it down for like 10 seconds. It's not the worst thing to have happen. It's just not good. And when you combine it with also losing out 10 seconds of progress on your weapons across both players, that sets the whole team back fairly substantially. And of course, because the EMP didn't get sniped, he just sells it off. He gets his money back, or at least most of it. He's not Pinchfist, who doesn't get all of his money back, but he gets most of it back, and he just puts it right back into proper defenses, which can hold him against things like, I don't know, a plasma laser. Speaking of which, Ethan already has energy shield in place to defend against the laser beams, which are going to inevitably be coming for him. Mind you, because of Ethan successfully EMPing their target, Ethan is now substantially ahead of their opponent. This plasma beam is only halfway completed, whereas Eaton's is just shy of fully complete. You can see here the difference it makes with just landing that extra EMP. Noah opening the first shots, opening the game with their first cannon. Greenleaf replying in kind with the howitzer, and I imagine a cannon follow-up as well. Greenleaf finally getting their own sniper to help with this. Activating their commander ability to swiftly produce that laser beam. Oh, wow. Despite Greenleaf being behind in the build times, they are able to use their laser beam, their commander active, in order to construct their weapons to catch up to Skull of Krubis, but the damage is dealt. Vicro loses both the fire beam and the plasma beam. That is a massive setback. Team Greenleaf only has one set of weapons on the field right now. It is a howitzer and a cannon, both in Dranistian's base in the top fort. That is not an ideal situation. It looks like Dranistian trying to aim for the door snipe, just trying to mitigate some of the damage output from Team Skull of Krubis, because this is tough. This is a tough place to be in for Greenleaf. They're still in it. They still have the ability to come back. It isn't over by any means. It's just at a massive disadvantage. As the disadvantage is growing, is the problem. As every time Dranistian takes a hit, every time a Skull of Krubis fires, especially using their commander active, with those empowered heavy weapons, more damage is dealt to Team Greenleaf than they are capable of fully rebuilding. It's just too much damage output. They need to deal something. And yes, the howitzer lands, but that wasn't enough damage to make the difference. Greenleaf uses their commander active ability to quickly rebuild their laser beams, but it's too little too late. Vicro's base is bisected. Just I would say it's a little off the top, but that core is air-cooled at this point. The skull of Krubis senses blood in the water and will be aiming there once again. Team Greenleaf's hope and dreams that the commander active can carry them through reconstructing weapons and getting back into this game just got sliced away from them. That's not an ideal situation to be in. Team Greenleaf down to 1 howitzer once more. The EMP coming back to play. This time there is a sniper on the field, but I don't think it's going to be the difference maker here, as this time the howitzer is directly targeted by Team Skull of Krubis. It's exposed with no doors, no defenses entirely. If it gets a hit, it's done for, and with it, Dranistian will lose the rest of their base. Noah just going clean cannons. Cannon after cannon, digging deeper and deeper with every volley. Oh, that was close. That laser beam completely opened all of the defenses in Dranistian's base. The cannon follow-up, it didn't deal the game-ending damage, but only because it missed. Not because it couldn't. Dranistian has been broken. They can no longer sustain this measure of firepower. It's just a matter of time before it ends. The question is, can Dranistian actually deal any amount of damage before they go out? I'm talking about Dranistian as if Vicro isn't in exactly the same scenario. Vicro now down to 58% core after receiving several heavy weapon hits. Uh-oh. Why are you like this? That actually did a pretty good amount of damage. That howitzer... Oh, there we go. Vicro falls to the laser beams of Eaton. As Noah actually took a fairly substantial hit there. Didn't get destroyed or lose anything super critical, but did run the risk of taking heavy amounts of damage. Howitzer still hit pretty hard. The problem Dranistian faces is, of course, the lack of the ability to sustain the ridiculous amounts of firepower that's heading their way, as the core is directly hit. I think they survive this one. They do, with 5% core remaining. The next fire beam just does it. Dranistian has a few seconds to bring that shield online. The shield is online. Okay, Dranistian will survive this. But it isn't... In surviving it, they managed to lose a mine, which is not ideal, as the core is once again directly exposed to weapons fire, with 5% core remaining. Only the smallest amount of splash damage is needed to actually end it, which means Noah can just keep hitting the front of the base and end this game. And I suspect Noah and Eaton know this. Given the thick and constant stream of black smoke coming out of Dranistian's core, this should be a dead giveaway to Skull of Krubis that Dranistian is not long for this world. As long as they keep firing, they don't have to do anything tricky. This game will end. I say as if Eaton isn't also trying to do something tricky. If they manage to shut down that energy shield, those fire beams will immediately end the game. Is that it? That's it. That's it. The cannons finally making their hits. Team Greenleaf falls. Well done, Team Skull of Krubis. winning their first match in this best of 3. Okay. And we're off to the next round. Remember, guys, if you want to see more matches just like this, there's plenty more coming soon, which makes me very happy. Makes me very happy. I like these. I like these a lot. Forge is a good time. So I want to say shout out to wait, where did it go? I saw shout out to USS Liberty Never Forget. You log out of RuneScape to try this game. Well, good luck. Forts, it's fun. It's also difficult, unless you're just trying to build funny shapes. But alas, once more into the fray, round 2 of this best of 3. Here on the left-hand side, once again, it is Team Green Leaf. Vicro in the lower ball, Dronistian in the upper ball. They are getting themselves prepared to face against Team Skull of Krubis. Noah in the lower ball, eats it in the upper ball. Team Skull of Krubis is the team to beat the expected reigning champions of the Forts Tournament Series throughout, well, recent history. They're playing as the Seep Commander. Seep Commander known for its missile rushes, and frankly, this map, plenty of space on these balls for all the swarm missile launches and nuclear missile silos you could ever hope to field. They're playing against the Scattershot Commander. Now, Scattershot, notoriously powerful, mostly because it empowers the 20mm cannon. The 20mm cannon enables it to use these not quite heavy weapons in a manner which would normally be relegated or could only be otherwise obtained by heavy weapons. So rather than having to go straight to heavy weapons, Team Greenleaf will be able to spam out these 20mm and empower them using the Scattershot active to deal heavy weapon damage per 20mm. So that's good fun. We expect to see basically the munitions plant rush with a large array of heavy with 20mm. Oh, they get that down just in time. Noah almost losing their first missile silo. That's not an ideal situation to be in. But there we are. Interesting note, Eaton going with the laser beam tech. They do still have their workshop, haven't sold that off yet, so they're keeping missiles as an option. But they are going laser beams. We'll see if that comes into play. Greenleaf is on top of their sniping game this time, and they are picking away at everything and anything. Noah, you can't let this happen. Okay. There you go. That's technology, so weapons and materials in this game take a percentage of their total value, their total cost in order to repair. And so any damage you deal on a technology is a massive repair cost, just because it costs a lot of metal. Like, this sucker costs 600 metal. Want to try repairing an item that costs 600 metal? It's going to cost you a heap ton of your eco for that. So that's... Yeah, that's a lot. That's an expensive repair bill right there. You don't want that to happen. So any amount of sniper hits, even if the sniper doesn't destroy it, like it's not necessary to destroy it. You just damage it. You're dealing great work. Like your job there is done. As we have triple 20s. 20s, they're smaller than cannons. They're cheaper than cannons. They can be spammed, but with the commander active specifically, the scattershot commander active, it does more damage than a cannon. Just a lot to deal with. It's very, very much so a lot to deal with. And we're going to see even more 20s coming very soon out of Skull of Krubis here. This is out of Team Greenleaf here. I expect we're going to see a third cannon, if not some more cannons down here, maybe some cannons up here. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. There we see the 20s coming out. Of course, 20s tend to come out a bit faster than cannons, so they are ready to go a little bit before cannon o'clock. As Noah's getting bullied pretty hard. Noah just did not defend their base, like, at all. Noah just lost their last mine. Unfortunately, Noah no longer has any metal income. They managed to replace this, so they have some metal income now, but that's... given they lost their mines this early in the match, that's pretty much a complete lockdown. You don't really come back from that. Those 20 mils are just going to fire again and try to remove any remnant mine, and then there's just you can't stop it because you have 20s. Their teammate Eaton comes in from above, trying to save Noah here, manages to kind of sort of do so, disabling 2 of the 20mm in the process, but still the remnant that made it through still destroyed the mine because, well, Noah doesn't have the money to prevent that, like, at all. Won't be firing their missiles anytime soon. It's looking very, very rough around the edges here. I don't know if that was preemptive or trying to disconnect from the ball, but this is likely to be the end of Noah. Yep, there we go. You guys see those empowered 20s shooting shotgun blasts of 20mm cannons. That's why you need to keep your mines defended and alive and protected, because otherwise you die. It's not... There's no two ways about it. Now the question I have is, can these 20s properly attack this upper base here? I'm... barely, but yes. Eaton now in a 1v2 against 5 20mm, soon to be 6 20mm. I suspect that's too much even for Eaton here, as Team Greenleaf is 93% recharged with their commander active. And with that damage, Team Greenleaf is now ready to fire a full volley of 5 empowered 20mm cannons. Eaton's base is not prepared for this. He's trying. That's about the best he can get. The energy shields would be better. However, doing so would cost him his own ability to fire his weapons, which is not great. Not great at all. But it would keep him alive from this. Whereas the sandbags will suffer a bit more. Like the sandbags will be penetrated. Question is, will they be penetrated deeply enough? As Eaton trying to take the battle to Greenleaf, actually almost digging all the way to Jernistian's core. As we see the sandbags are being penetrated. It's not enough. Eaton falls. Greenleaf wins this match in this best of 3. And there we have it. Well done, Team Greenleaf. As we move on to match 3. With both teams on 1 point each, this last match will be the decider in this best of 3. And we're off. Very little RNG involved. Yeah. The both teams went for kind of RNG free-ish weapons. I mean, 20 millimeters do have some hefty RNG in them, but it averages out pretty well. The sniping. Team Greenleaf has been on top of their sniping this round. As poor Noah is getting bullied. But here we go into round 3 of Greenleaf versus Skull of Krubis. Here on the left-hand side, once again, it is Team Greenleaf. Vicro in the lower fort, Dranisti in the upper fort, both in blue. They're facing off against the red team, Team Skull of Krubis. Noah in the lower fort, looking like they're getting bullied a bit by Greenleaf snipers. Eaton and Noah are playing as the Seep commander. This is the commander from missiles. This is where they get empowered missiles. So generally speaking, we're going to see swarm missiles and a lot of them. I'm curious to see, yes, this is the strategy that I know. This is the strategy that I've seen with the highest percent win ratio, where both players in the Seep missile rush go for swarm missiles. Both players go swarm missiles, both players go nukes, both players go snipers and map control, and they just land as much damage as they can. We're going to see some early mid-game aggression, trying to defeat Team Greenleaf before Greenleaf gets anything done. Now, Greenleaf is playing as the Spook Commander. Spook Commander is known for its information gathering, lets you know what the opponents are doing, gives you some intel on what's going on inside their base and during the commander active, gives you full vision of the enemy fort, just as we see here in spectator mode. However, Team Skull of Krubis, they're not hiding anything. Like most swarm missile rushes, they're around and out there. They let everyone know what's happening, and they don't try to hide it. They just get missiles and punch them directly in the face because they can. Whereas Greenleaf relies on getting those heavy weapons on the field. They need to complete their technology, both their energy production technology and their cannon production facility, and then also have the money to spend on getting those very expensive weapons, costing around about 1,000 metal each. They have to live long enough for that, which, as you might guess, is potentially an issue. As here we have Dranistian getting targeted by both players of Team Skull of Krubis. But here's the thing. If Dranistian becomes Team Tank, Dranistian won't be able to get weapons. And if Dranistian can't get weapons, there's nothing to stop these missiles from continually becoming a problem. Heavy damage dealt to Vicro's base here, splashing around and wiping out all those turbines. This stage of the game, Skull of Krubis is not looking to deal massive amounts of damage. They're just trying to delay. So things like targeting the turbines, just hitting some pieces of metal, doing what they can to make Greenleaf have a bad time and generally slow down their build order. Because, well, swarm missiles, as much as they're a hybrid weapon, we did see them dig pretty deep when a bunch of them got together. You really need to have a lot of swarm missiles dumping onto the same location in order to deal real base destroying levels of damage. So instead, Skull of Krubis is just trying to delay their opponents, prevent them from getting heavy weapons on the field, which, as you've seen with Vicro here taking that heavy hit, is only just now getting their first fire beam on the field. Whereas Team Skull of Krubis is upgrading their swarm missiles to nukes, and with those nukes, they can deal actual game-ending damage. Now, it is worth noting that Dranistian in the upper base didn't take as much economic damage. They did manage to get their cannon roughly on time, and so we will see a cannon placed and ready to fire by Team Greenleaf just after cannon o'clock timing. And with the AA on the field now for Team Greenleaf, Team Skull of Krubis is going to have to focus on that map control in order to make sure those opening volleys of nuclear firepower actually make it across. It's worth noting that due to the oppressive regime of snipers coming out of Skull of Krubis, Team Greenleaf's only source of flak has been shut down. Greenleaf has responded by building a wall of machine gunners and putting doors in front of them. But the first nuke is on the way. Clean across the sky. Splashes directly into Vykra's front. Massive, widespread damage, but nothing critical. The nuke destroyed. And with it, Jornistian's cannon will complete. So now Jornistian has an opportunity to actually fire back. Now, it is... Skull of Krubis is more or less prepared for cannons. They aren't perfectly defended. I think there's technically a drop shot capable here on Noah's base. This is something that can happen. But we will see Team Skull of Krubis more properly defending themselves against heavy weapons in the very near future. As a heavy hit, a little off the top, it looks like Vykro gets a haircut this time around. Vykro down to 43% HP on their core. Oh, trying for that drop shot. Takes out this sniper, leaving Noah actually completely sniperless. Cannot fire their weapon for the foreseeable future. Looks like Eaton's swarm missile launch doing its job, baiting out all the AA, and for it, Jornistian loses several sources of anti-air. Noah fires a nuke. Oh, is it gonna... Oh, no. It made it across. Nuke gets drunk, dodges everything, slams in the same spot as Noah's nuclear location, dealing massive damage to Jornistian's base. Whoa. That's more than just a massive repair build. That's core damage, bringing them down to 88%. Jornistian completely out of metal. Cannot fully repair after that, but will need to if they have a hope of preventing further nukes. Without repairing all those AA batteries and locations for machine gunners, the nukes are going to be almost completely free to clear the field and just break... Oh no, the buzzsaw disconnecting yet another trench of AA. Uh-oh. Team Greenleaf is looking very low on the AA, especially considering there are 4 missile launchers on the field. And this is a full volley incoming from Team Skull of Krubis. The nuke makes it. Vykro takes another heavy hit, down to 32% core HP left. Team Greenleaf, with only a single cannon to their name, is just barely hanging in there. Sure, cannons generally on average stronger than nukes. The problem is that nukes hit hard, they hit fast, they hit earlier than cannons, and you can't use cannons if you die before the cannons come out. Or, you know, if you can't afford cannons because you lost most of your base before you could build them. That's another similar big issue here. As you know, the cannon's getting damage done. It's consistently sniping out this, well, sniper. I'm still concerned that Noah's gonna do the thing where he doesn't defend his core properly. Like, my dude, build your sniper above your turbines, and then hardwall this off so you can't get drop shotted. Like, please, don't let it happen. Don't let it happen again. I've seen it too many times. I've seen it way too many times. A full missile volley from Team Skull of Krubis. But the AA has been reconstructed for Team Greenleaf. Most of it is shot down. A few swarm missiles make it across, but nothing of significant value. Team Greenleaf does manage to sustain. If they're able to clear the skies like that again, they will actually be able to claw their way and crawl back into this. As is, Vykro managed to sneak out at Plasma Laser and all of that, and is attempting to get a fire beam on top. Vykro eats 2 nukes Their base does survive. It's only the ablative armor that was lost. So nothing of significant value. But it is certainly a shot they need to avoid taking. As if another volley like that onto Vicro's base, and Vicro won't be able to rebuild before things spiral, not in their favor. Dranistian desperately needs another cannon, as another massive wave of nuclear firepower lands. Only one nuke makes it this time, so Vicro can survive this. Didn't lose the infrastructure, or didn't lose the framework. The AA can be replaced. He's fine. A second cannon from Dranistian has been constructed, or at least has been placed. It is halfway through construction. If this manages to complete, I would officially put Team Greenleaf in the lead, despite Greenleaf's beatings that they have taken so far. God, another nuke lands. But this time on the exterior edges. No significant damage dealt. Worthy notes. Noah took a heavy hit here. Specifically, Noah's nuke doubled back down after getting slammed. Directly on top of Noah's base here. That kind of puts Noah in a bad position, because that opened Noah up to laser fire. As we saw, it destroyed the energy shield, leaving Noah's turbines exposed, which have now been destroyed. The nuke once again taken out. Greenleaf is full defending. They've managed to maintain their map control enough to keep those missiles in check. And here's the thing. With Skull of Krubis losing all of their wind turbines, that's going to set them back massively. Nukes and missiles in general, really, are incredibly energy hungry. You cannot fire them with any rapid frequency if you do not have significant energy production. And given that both Noah and Eaton have fully lost all of their energy production, I'm fully expecting that we won't be seeing any missiles launched with any meaningful ferocity in the near future. That's going to give Team Greenleaf all the time they need to catch up with and solidify their defenses. Make sure that their AA is on point and fully defended, and with fully defended AA, with heavy weapons now on the field, the cannons constructed, this is going to put Greenleaf firmly in the lead in this match. And now, for the first time, we see Team Skull of Krubis taking heavy hits. Eaton falls. Double cannon shot directly to the core. Eaton loses their entire fort. Noah, trying to crawl back, reclaims Eaton's destroyed base, and in a final moment of spite, launches their missiles out, hoping to get any amount of damage done, but every single missile shot down out of the sky. There's no hope left in those missiles, I think. That's not entirely true. Missiles always have a chance to just sneak through even infinite amounts of flak. However, the chances at this point are incredibly small, and Team Greenleaf doesn't seem to have any vulnerabilities which would let even a lucky nuke deal game-ending amounts of damage. However, it is still possible to deal massive amounts of damage, and potentially, if that happens twice in a row, maybe something could happen. It's really hard to see exactly how that could happen at this point, where Greenleaf, their path to victory is all but written in stone. All they have to do is keep firing. Oh, that's it. Noah just lost all of their mines. They've sold off 2 of their missile silos so they can rebuild them. But Noah, now down to 2 mines active and 2 in reconstructing at this point in time, will not have the economy to sustain any reasonable amount of damage from heavy weapons, and there are many heavy weapons incoming. Noah taking another hit to their core, down to 72%. things are looking particularly unfavorable for Team Skull of Krubis, as Greenleaf, they're just kind of winning. This is the strategy that this is the expected outcome of these strategies. Either Team Skull of Krubis wins before the 10-minute mark using their nuclear firepower, or Team Greenleaf slowly crawls their way back with heavy weapons and just more consistently damages their opponents until the end. That's an air-cooled core taking a direct hit from a plasma laser, down to 14%. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Forts, as we see the damage output being upscaled by Team Greenleaf, selling off chunks of their AA to replace with cannons and additional heavy weapons. There's the end. With that, Team Greenleaf take victory in this best of 3. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has been the Forts Pro League. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that follow button so you guys can see the next match when it goes live. Very well played. Very well played. It's actually a bit of an upset. Team Greenleaf taking victory over Skull of Krubis. I kind of expected Skull of Krubis to go undefeated. Alas, that's what the Forts Pro League is for. Alright, so what is next? All right. Got that done. Let's bring up the next one here. What a twist, seriously. I was surprised. Alright, let's bring the next one over. Where is it? Show me the next one. Thank you. You didn't expect a game flip? Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's... I'm surprised. I was surprised that Skull of Krubis didn't pull it off. But given the match is going as long as it was trending toward Greenleaf for quite a substantial amount of time. It's close. You came for 5 minutes 2 hours ago? Didn't expect good content? You love to see it. You love to see it every time. Hey, you know, that's what we like around here, yeah? It's always a very good time. Explosions. Explosions. More explosions. Alright. Where is... Giro? So off the back of our previous victors, we're going to see our previous victors once more. So, for reasons beyond my understanding, for whatever reason, I have decided to wear a thermal undershirt today, which is a mistake. So, I'm gonna go change real quick, because computer's doing computer things, and I'm dying. I will be right back. Almost forgot I don't have the camera on today. Makes the whole taking the shirt off process a lot easier. So, let's go into this next match here. As we jump into Way to Kanishtish versus Greenleaf. This needs to go away. Thank you. And we're off. Once more into the fray. Here's my start button. Thank you. Did we do this already? So in the Forts Pro League, it does like a round robin, like multiple rounds kind of system. So there are a lot of rounds. It's a point-based system. So the more victories you get as you go around and around the round robin system, the better. So we will see matches where it's the same teams against the same teams. Eventually. But without further ado, we're off to the Forts Pro League. Here on the left-hand side in the blue, it is Dami versus Bowser. Or should I say, Dami and Bowser, ignoring any friendly fire, facing off against their opponents, Team Greenleaf, Vicro, and Trinistian. Now, the commander choice is a little bit telling. We have here, on the right side, Team Greenleaf as the Scattershot Commander. Really, there's one strategy we see with the Scattershot Commander. The Scattershot Commander has... it's got one major buff to it. During the active ability, 20 millimeters, will become empowered, firing a shotgun blast with a few extra projectiles. this means that, well, as the scattershot commander, you can rush out 20 millimeters, which are substantially cheaper than cannons, and have them hit harder than cannons. It's a very well-known and very popular strategy, and looks like we're going to be seeing it here today. Whereas Team Way Too Kanishtish, they're going with the Architect Commander. The Architect Commander is rather defensive, rather kind of economical as well. There's two major and primary benefits from the Architect Commander. The first is cheaper and faster building wood. This means you can wood spam both harder and faster. This allows you to be more defensive. Things that would otherwise be difficult to defend can be more consistently defended. This is especially good versus things like swarm missiles and nukes, because nukes, the only way to 100% guarantee defense against them is with wide-spaced wood spam, which is very difficult to do consistently unless you have the Architect Commander, which allows you to spam it out everywhere. But the other main strength of Architect is that Architect's active ability massively increases the rate of construction for pretty much everything. All your weapons construct faster, all of your devices like technology, they construct faster. This means that you don't have to fire first. All you have to do is have a weapon placed and then activate your ability, and you will construct so much faster that any deviation that you did, any inefficiency you may have had in your build order, will be caught up. Will just immediately catch you up by virtue of having that build speed bonus. So most of the time, Architect players, or our teams playing with the Architect, will take that into account and instead just concede they're not going to fire first. Instead, what they'll do is they'll just face tank the first few hits using their wood spam to consistently, keep themselves safe from any significant harm, and then use that commander ability to catch up with and match the build speed of their opponents. And this allows them to do things like expands further earlier on the game, often investing into earlier economy, and yet still keep up with their opponents, which is quite good. And because of its build speed bonuses, it works quite well for tech switches later on. So let's say, oh no, my opponents have something that I don't have the technology for, and I need to invest in a new technology in order to deal with it. Let's say, I don't know, they put energy shields everywhere and I've only got lasers. It'd be a shame if I popped my commander ability and got an EMP out on the field at about 45 seconds. It's quite good. So there's no real major downsides to Architects. This is a good general all-round commander. It's great for handling the basic fundamentals of the RTS elements in forts. The question is, will the massive amounts of wood spam be enough to protect against chunky, thick walls of lead? Because that's who they're going to be dealing with. As we're coming up on the 5-minute mark, it looks like Team Greenleaf didn't go with rapidly rushing out 20 millimeters. Instead, they just kind of eventually got 20 mils. And they're going to generally just fire 20s at their opponents, not looking to deal any real damage here. They're just looking to charge up their own commander ability. Way Too Kanishtish, I think panic enabling their commander ability. They didn't have any weapons placed when they activated it, although they do have they did place a howitzer during their ability, as well as a cannon. But if they had activated their active ability, their commander ability, at a more appropriate time, we would have seen these cannons and potentially even the howitzer completely finished right now, which would have been a significant buff to Neshish's current position. However, as it stands, Team Greenleaf has fully charged their commander ability, has 5 20mm ready to go, and I suspect Team Way Too Kanishtish is not prepared for 5 20 mils all hitting the same location, as they're about to do. Shotgun blasts of cannons. Oh, and they survive. Everything but the sniper. The double shot snipers from Scattershot come in to finish off the final core. Bowser goes down. With only one player remaining, Dami is the last player for Team Way Too Kanishtish currently alive on the field. This is the power of Scattershot. Just barely. Just. Oh no. It's so much damage output. As Team Greenleaf is 95% of the way toward fully recharging their commander ability once more. Team Way2 Kaneshtish did manage to retort. They fired their cannon and managed to take out one of the 20mm for Team Greenleaf, but there are still 4 additional 20 mils on the field, which is a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Looks like the cannon dummy firing again, looking to remove the cannons for Team Greenleaf. Doesn't quite have it good to go just yet. Takes out several mines, a solid hit. Like, that's a good amount of damage done there. The problem for Team Way2 Kaneshtig here, despite owning a significant amount of the map, partially reclaiming the, well, remnants of their teammates' base, the problem is that there's still 4, soon to be 5, 20mm cannons on the field, and every one of them will become empowered and deal huge damage very soon. Speaking of which, Dami's entire cannon battery is gone. No weapons left remaining. Team Way2 Kaneshtig has no way of protecting themselves against the inevitable and constant onslaught, and they know it. Team Greenleaf wins round 1 in this best of 3. Tommy just being a punching bag. Oh no. That was, well, that happened. That was quite one-sided for a majority of that match. That's, well, that's scattershot for you. That's usually how that goes. Scattershot still has a particularly high win rate. Although it is nice to see that other commanders actually compete now. It is very nice to see that they actually compete now. It's just not quite enough. Sometimes. You love the 20 mils? I mean, the good purpose. Explain the plan for the Forts Polar League. Will I unlist the stream and upload individual videos, or will it stay? Like cast all games. So I'm going to be casting a majority of the games, a vast majority of the games. All of these here that you see will be turned into individual videos with proper editing and the higher quality stuff. So if you miss something here, don't worry, it will become a video. But this, like all of my live streams, it won't be unlisted or anything. It will be available on the channel if you wish to see the unedited version. Most people aren't interested in the unedited versions, so I'm still going to be putting out the edited versions soon. If you guys want to see more, make sure to stop by this weekend, because we have so much more Forts coming. Like, it's actually crazy. We have the Forts Amateur League this weekend, as well as the Gamers for Giving event, which means a long stream with lots of Forts. We're actually going to be doing the same thing on Saturday as we were doing today. We're going to be casting FPL matches. So that's going to have not just more Forts, but the best style of Forts along the way. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? As we're off to round 2 as a team... Oh, we need to swap these around. Greenleaf and Way2 Kaneshtig. Good. Great. As Team Greenleaf has a score of 1-0 over their opponents. Greenleaf not playing games anymore. They're, why is this not? Oh, there you go. They're taking names real quick around these parts. Just want to know if you can see them all cast. Yes, yes, they will be uploaded throughout the weeks, scattered about. The Forts Pro League Finals is coming up in a couple weeks as well, so we will see those coming soon, eventually. You prefer the raw footage like you're doing, but you have to search for it to show it. It goes into, so on the channel, it goes into as not every live stream is publicly visible. At least, let me rephrase. Every live stream is publicly visible. Not every live stream is submitted to the algorithm. Sometimes you will have to go into the playlists and find them that way, or go into the live streams and such. But it's all public. It's all available on the channel if you want to get access to it. But for now, we're off to round 2 in this best of 3. Here on the left-hand side, it is Team Greenleaf with a dominating performance in round 1. This time, we're looking to see what differences in strategy they'll be playing, as they're facing against their opponent's team, Way Too Kneshtish. Dami and Bowser need to switch something up if they want to come back in this, as they are one score down and looking to be knocked out in this match. We'll get to see how the differences in strategy come out on top. Which one is favored? Because right now, we see here as Way Too Kneshtish is playing as the Eagle Eye Commander, with the changes to the Eagle Eye Commander in the latest buffs. Eagle Eye is now much more powerful with their heavy weapons. With the buffered shells, they can double fire all of their heavy weapons. So, double howitzer shells out of a single howitzer, double cannon, double plasma laser, all those fun things. This means that we're going to see Way Too Kneshtish going for heavy weapons, as we see the plasma laser production facility being placed, as well as the cannon production facility. And we're going to see the same-ish kind of thing out of Greenleaf. That's because Greenleaf is playing as the Warthog Commander. Warthog, rather than double firing their shells, their weapons, instead empowers their weapons, so they don't fire 2 howitzer shells, but every howitzer shell is much, much more powerful. And that is, well, that's a very common choice here. The Warthog empowered toys is an incredibly common and very powerful strategy. And we're going to see double cannons out of Team Greenleaf. So no lasers, no fancy glowy toys. It's all going to be nothing but cannons. And it looks like we're going to see double howitzer. Both of these players are doing the howitzer build order, but I don't see double howitzer very often because howitzers could be shot down and you need map control. And if you lose map control, it's very hard to get map control back if you only have a howitzer. So you generally also want to have a cannon or like anything that's not a howitzer to go with it. But both of these players are doing the howitzer build order, and it concerns me because whoa! That was close. Trying to snipe out the bottom there. This is another one of those maps where you can remove your outer defenses in exchange for a mine. I don't necessarily want to call it a greedy play, but it is certainly, it costs you your defenses in terms of getting more eco. Yeah, both players in Team Greenleaf are going howitzer, which means we're going to see double empowered howitzer out of Greenleaf, which is terrifying. They are also going to need to get some standard cannons in there, otherwise it's going to be a bad time for them. Whereas Team Way Too Kneshtish, they're a bit more diverse. They have a howitzer in construction as well as a plasma laser. It is worth noting that Greenleaf is a little bit ahead in the build order. They will have the opportunity to fire first if they want it. The question is, who will fire first and how much damage will they get done? So we see some stability tech happening for all players involved. So pretty, the nice spider web. I still don't know what's going on with this. This looks like it's a hybrid. It's fine. It's just sandbag. Strange, cheap, easy sandbag. As yeah, this is, I mean, it's the same heavy weapons rush out of all players. It's just a strange choice of weapon composition. We have cannons coming out of Greenleaf and mixed weapons coming out of Way Too Kneshtish. I think if I were a betting man, I would say that Greenleaf is likely to wait on the howitzer until the cannon is ready to fire, which may mean that they will see. Nope. Team Greenleaf fires first, slamming way to Kineshtis' top base. Bowser taking the hit this time. No significant damage done. Looks like Team Way to Kineshtis, their weapons are finished, but they're not firing just yet. Usually for Eagle Eye you want to wait so you can get that double shot ability all fully charged. Swing and a miss. Fire beam misses. As double empowered howitzer. Oh no! Massive damage. That core is air cooled. With the cannons free to follow up and plenty of machine guns, will that do it? No! A swing and a miss. Bowser survives despite not having any defenses. That cannon simply misses or penetrates the base and slams harmlessly on the other side. However, in all of that, Bowser still took 58% core damage and will not be able to take another hit like that. As here comes another hit, just like that. Another miss! This time, one of the howitzers clean missing. Oh, but the second cannon brings Bowser's base down to 28% integrity. Way 2 Kineshtis needs to do something about that firepower. They cannot let it continue. The double shot howitzer, both shot down out of the sky. This plasma laser needs to do something right now, or this is going to be the end for Bowser. Another miss. The howitzer just completely misses the base. Whoa. This is, alright, this is your chance. Plasma, do it again. Let it double shot. Did he not have the... He didn't have the double shot. Oh, he didn't wait for the double shot. Oh, no. One of the strongest sets of weapons for Eagle Eye is the double shot laser, so it can just burn all the way through. But now double howitzer and the double cannon follow-up. Oh. Oh no, Dami trying desperately to defend his teammate. Just doing everything they can in an effort to keep the cannon shells out of the air. Another massive hit with the cannon wipes out Bowser's energy production. All of it is gone. Okay. Alright, you've got to double shot this plasma now. You cannot let these continue on as is. And wait for the double shot. Oh no. Oh no. Did he not wait long enough? Oh no. Oh, that's rough. You have to wait for the entire reload process to complete, otherwise you can't double shot it. And the energy shield, at this point, Team Greenleaf is defending against lasers enough. It may not the double shot laser may not even do it if he manages to get it. Oh, and the AA is falling. Team Way 2 Kineshtis needs every gunner on the field if they have a hope of taking these howitzers out of the sky. There's the double shot. He's got it. Oh, that's not going to make it to the core. Oh, so he doesn't have the energy to fire it a second time. Okay. Okay. Well, this is not the kind of world you want to live in right now. Team Greenleaf with double howitzer, double cannon is going to be dealing incredible amounts of damage to Team Way 2 Kineshtis. And just like that, Dami loses every last weapon. This is devastating. Now, typically, the reason you don't see double howitzer is it's too inconsistent, too easily countered by AA. But it is an incredible amount of damage output, and if you manage to land the shot well, it's game ending. As we've seen here, I mean, you can't, like, Bowser, despite having an incredibly thick base, just couldn't take it. As the double howitzer comes in once again. Dami is going to spend every single last piece of their metal to repair that. Even failing to repair it all. Still damaged struts everywhere. As it's only a matter of moments before Team Greenleaf fires again. Here comes the second volley of howitzer. Did that howitzer not get shut down? Okay. Well, the core is not defended from cannons. Case and point. As Dami putting up the flag, the shoot me flag, is throwing in the towel. It's just letting it happen. Where are those cannons? They just didn't shoot their cannon. A second cannon, okay. As here comes the howitzer once more. To finish the game. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Team Greenleaf is the victor in this best of 3. And there you have it. A dominant performance out of Team Greenleaf in this match. That was impressive, and I am all about that. Like, it's not every day we see double howitzer, with good reason, but boy, did it work out here. It worked out real well here, and I'm all for it. That was some incredibly satisfying shots. I didn't go look back at. I saw it. The less than existent, fully existent cannon. Yeah. You built yourself a little cannon emplacement that didn't live very long now, did it? Accidentally ripping itself off of its own tops. Oh my. When the boomstick works, the boomstick works. It does. It's very good. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do something fun. Something I find to always be a good time. I know you guys like it too. What we're going to do is we're going to go say hello to a friend. And in proper incursion fashion, we're going to get to watch them suffer. It's going to be great. Oh my. Is this perfect timing? Yeah, this is perfect timing. Okay. If you guys want to join in on the fun, make sure to use that raid command and follow the link. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go have some extra activity. One of my favorite parts about raiding is because we're doing restream, multi-streaming, we can raid and watch their reaction and totally not judge them for their reactions to the raids, which I love. So make sure to follow that link. We're going to go say hello to a friend of mine, Arshi TV, who's looking to prepare for a war. So he's going to be set up on like war comms, and he's doing a super serious moment, and we are totally going to interrupt it like 7 minutes from it starting. So he's got plenty of time to react to it, but we'll be disruptive, but in the good way. So make sure to jump on over, because we're gonna go say hello. Hello from Slovakia. Hello there. Is it not? Is it not a bit early in the, I guess late at night? So should I say hello from Slovakia and a good evening to you? A good night, perhaps? GG's to all the players. Oh, I'm so very looking forward to editing and posting those videos. It's gonna be a great time. But let's go say hello to Archie here. Perfect timing, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, Project Incursus is coming in! On the huge ass raid! Live! On stream! All of you guys from Project Incursus, you know what time it is! It's time to go in! And take out your favorite streamer! Tonight! Exclamation mark join! And some cash money! 100,000 cash money has been redeemed.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an Archie raid. I hope you guys have a great time. I'm gonna hang out in chat. It has been a great time. I look forward to seeing you guys this coming weekend. Remember, we've got the Gamers for Giving event coming out this weekend. So for now, have a good one, everyone. And I'll see you guys in chat. I see you there already.